So if we could have a moment of silence, stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Madam Clerk, can we have the roll call, please?
Jamie Girardi?
Here.
Christopher Poole?
Here.
John Moody?
Here.
Matthew Mons?
Here.
Derek Contlitz? Chris Williams?
Here.
Chairman Charles Gregg.
Here. And the proof of publication, please?
The items were advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on April 22nd, 2026 and June 24th, 2026, and by affidavit of certified mailings and site posting.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody today. We're the Planning Commission. We're appointed by the Board of County Commissioners, and we meet twice monthly. We serve as a local planning agency, and we hold public hearing to transmit to the Board of County Commissioners our recommendations on comprehensive plan amendments, land development code amendments, rezonings, and conditional use requests. Planning Commission is the final decision-making body for special exceptions, certain appeals, variance requests, certain alternative standard requests. However, final decisions may be appealed to the Board of County Commissioners. If anyone is in opposition to any comprehensive plan amendment, a land development code amendment, or any amendment where we transmit a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners, it will be important for you to attend the Board of County Commissioner meeting. We have those dates available. Those of you who are not familiar with the format of our meetings, there are three sections usually: continuances, consent items, and regular items. I don't know if we have any continuance items today, but what we'll do is we'll go through each one, and if there's something on there that you would like to have heard on the regular items, please raise your hand. We'll pull it from the consent items, and we will hear it under the regular item discussion. Applicants today will have 5 minutes to make their presentation, and questioners or people here from the public with concerns or recommendations will have 3 minutes to make their presentations, and then the applicant will have an opportunity to come back up and answer many of those questions. So, did everybody hear me okay out there? Okay. I think we've had a request for extra time.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Item PC 13 and 14, we had a request for extra time from the applicant for 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So it's a requirement that if there is a request, at least 24 hours prior to this meeting for extra time, and the extra time may be granted and subject to the approval of the chairman. This is an opportunity, if you're here and you have a device like a phone that would make noise, please take a moment to get it out of your pocket or your purse, put it on the silent position so we won't disturb anyone. Before we start the regular meeting, this will be the time when, if anybody's here that has a question or a concern, it'll be your opportunity to come up and bring that to our attention and see if we can help you out in any way. So if you're here for something that is not on today's agenda, please raise your hand.
Mr. Chair, we did not have anybody signed up for general public comment today.
Okay, great. So then, for those who would like to give testimony today, I'd ask that you stand now and raise your right hand and be sworn. right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
Some of you didn't use your right hand, so I don't know if you don't know which is your right hand or you just, Anyway, I'll accept that as being sworn in. Okay.
Good afternoon, Planning Commission members. Gianna German, Planning Development and
Before you
Economic.
go any further, Gianna, let me just say that I note here that we have some minutes to approve.
Oh, yes.
Can we get a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes from the August 27th, September 4th workshops, and the November 20th, February 5th, February 19th, 2026 Planning Commission meetings.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the minutes as presented. We have a second. Any further discussion of the minutes? If not, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, motion carries. Now you're ready.
Okay. Good afternoon, Planning Commission members. Gianna German, Planning Development and Economic Growth. We did not have any items published on continuance today. The first item we have on consent is item PC6. It's PDE 267935, a zoning amendment in the name of Gulf Coast CCM Inc. for a change in zoning from a C2 General Commercial District with conditions to C2 General Commercial District located in south central Pasco County at the northwest corner of the intersection of State Road 54 and Wesley Chapel Boulevard on approximately 15.59 acres. And this is coming with the this is coming with the recommendation of approval to the Board of County Commissioners of the proposed rezoning request.
Okay, is the applicant present? Anyone here to object? Okay. Do we have any other consent items?
Yes, we have other items that are listed on consent. However, the remainder of our consent items, excluding PC7, we have individuals signed up to speak on these items.
Okay, just for the record then, let me just make sure that all the applicants are here if there are items going to be pulled. So, PC7,
PC7 is PDE 267866, a zoning amendment in the name of Chanzup LLC, Chanzup MPUD Master Plan Unit Development for a rezoning request from AR Agricultural Residential District to MPUD Master Plan Unit Development District to allow for the development of 96 platted townhomes and associated infrastructure located in southeast Pasco County, south of Chansey Road, approximately 777 feet east of Chansey Road and Gall Boulevard intersection, containing approximately 20.42 acres. And this item was published on consent. However, the applicant has now requested that the item be continued to the August 6, 2026 PC meeting at 1:30 p.m. in Dade City or soon thereafter may be heard. And there are individuals that were signed up to speak on this item as well.
so the applicant is here? Okay, and they want a continuance?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What was the date of that meeting?
August 6th.
Eight. Is that Dade City?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so there are some people here that would have wanted to speak on this item. The applicant has requested a continuance for any number of reasons. Could the applicant or the staff can request a continuance? We are accustomed to grant a continuance. However, if it's something that happens in the west side of the county, it needs to be continued to that date, or east side of the county, continued to that date. So in this case, it would be on August the 8th, back here at this location. So,
August.
is there anybody here that would still like to speak on this item today? Because it's not going to be presented today. If you do speak on it today, then you can't speak on it on August the 8th.
August.
August.
6th.
Yeah, August 6th.
6th? Okay, I thought it was the 8th. August 6th. Okay. So nobody wants to speak on this one? Okay.
Excuse me, just to be clear, there was whispering going on. This is for Two Rivers, and if we speak today.
No,
No.
no.
So that'll be closer towards the end of the agenda.
The short answer is no.
We're discussing the Chanza MPUD currently.
Okay? That's, that's going to be, the motion is to consent. Do I hear a motion? I mean, the continuance? Do I hear that motion?
I'll move to continue item PC7 to August 6th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion of the motion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, the motion carries.
Item PC8 is PDE 260007, and you'll be sitting as the local planning agency for this one. This item has a companion zoning item, which is PC9, PDE 267832. Item PC8 is a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment in the name of 06 Gagney MPUD, providing for a comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use maps 2-15 and sheet 23, changing from Res 9, residential 9 dwelling units per gross acre, to Res 24, residential 24 dwelling units per gross acre on approximately 18.634 acres located in the southeast corner of the intersection of US Highway 301, also known as Gall Boulevard, and Chancey Road. This item, as well as item PC9, the companion item, now have individuals signed up to speak, and we ask that the item be moved to the regular agenda.
All right. Is the applicant present? Okay. So there are people here to speak on that one. So we're moving this to the regular agenda. Do we, let's just go to the next one, because I understand there's others that are going to be pulled. And then we
Yes,
can
sir.
vote on them all at one time.
Okay, PC9, this was the companion to PC8.
Mm-hmm.
PDE 267832, it is a zoning amendment in the name of Gagney, Robert H. Trust, Gagney MPUD Master Plan Unit Development for a rezoning request from an MPUD Master Plan Unit Development District to an MPUD Master Plan Unit Development District to allow for the development of 300 multifamily apartment units and 30,000 square feet of commercial uses and associated infrastructure located in southeast Pasco County at the southeast corner of the intersection of Chancey Road and Gall Boulevard, containing approximately 18.63 acres. And this one also has individuals signed up to speak on this item.
Okay, and the applicant's present? Okay. All right, next.
Item PC10, it is PDE 262114, a variance request in the name of Jordan Lee Dobby and Jordan Monbaron Dobby. I apologize if I said that wrong. It's a request to reduce for the the required rear yard setback from 50 feet to 29 feet in an AC agricultural district as required by LDC section 503.8.c, located in northeast Pasco County on Power Line Road, approximately 1.6 miles north of the Frazee Hill Road, containing approximately 10.67 acres. This is coming with the recommendation of approval of the proposed variance with conditions as set forth under the recommended conditions section, to authorize the chairman to execute one of the original variance orders provided to the board records to distribute as set forth under the distribution section below. This item does not have anybody signed up to speak on it.
Pardon me?
This item does not have any individuals signed up to speak.
Okay. All right, and was there a recommendation that it be pulled or no?
That it be pulled?
No,
Is it
I
going to
mean,
remain on consent?
there's nobody here to speak?
This item is on consent, yes, sir.
Okay, so it's staying as in consent, okay. Are there any other items that are going to stay on consent?
No, sir. Item PC11 has individuals signed up to speak, and that is the remainder of the consent agenda.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the consent item PC?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, motion carries. Okay, next.
Okay. All right, would you like me to go through item PC8 first and have those individuals that got pulled go up prior to the regular agenda?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Azili, Planning Development and Economic Growth. We're just having a couple technical difficulties, so we will start very soon once Ms. Patty is able to pull up the presentation. I hope everybody enjoyed their lunch.
Yes, it was delightful.
Great. Do we have coffee? Did we have coffee?
Coffee? No, no.
Yeah.
Tell us we're going to need it?
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Okay, again, my name is Hayat Mizali, Planning Development and Economic Growth, and I will be presenting agenda item PC8, which is a comprehensive plan amendment in the name of CPAS 2507 Gagny MPUD. We'll start with the project overview. So the applicant is proposing a comprehensive plan amendment to change the future land use classification from Res 9, residential 9 dwelling unit per gross acre, to Res 24, residential 24 dwelling unit per gross acre, to allow for the development of a maximum 300 multifamily dwelling units on approximately 15.267 acres, which is a portion of an approximately 18.634 acre parcel. The subject site is located on the southeast corner of the intersection of US Highway 301 or Gold Boulevard and Chancey Road. There is a companion rezoning application in the name of Gagny Robert H. Trust, Gagny MPUD, which will be presented to you right after my presentation.
Okay.
This is a map showing the general location of the subject site. So the subject site is generally located in the East Market area. And this is an aerial showing the exact location of the subject site on the southeast corner of the intersection of Gold Boulevard and Chancey Road. This is a context map that provides the surrounding context of the subject site. As you can see, the surrounding area includes a mix of residential neighborhoods as well as commercial corridors. The city of Zephyr Hills lies immediately to the east, as highlighted in purple. And overall, the subject site is within an active area of growth with strong connectivity to transportation routes and adjacent residential, commercial, and, okay, it was jumping. Okay, there you go. As I was saying, the subject site is an active growth area with strong connectivity to transportation routes and adjacent residential and commercial uses. This slide shows that the subject site is within the airport approach surface area, this Zephyr Hills Airport. And this one is showing the airport influence area. The red star is our subject site. And this map is showing both the Zephyr Hills Airport influence area and the airport approach surface area overlay districts. So while the subject site is not directly within the most restrictive runway protection zone, it still remains within the broader airport vicinity, meaning that land use and height restrictions are applicable as established in the Land Development Code. This is a map showing the existing future land use as Res 9 and also COM. COM is to the north of the subject site. And Res 9 is in the southern portion. And this is another map showing the proposed future land use. Res 24, as you notice on this map, the portion COM or commercial is staying or remaining as is. It's not part of this proposed future land use amendment. These are the policies that the comprehensive plan policies that the proposed amendment is consistent with. And with that, the Planning Development Economic Growth recommends the local planning agency to find the proposed amendment consistent with the comprehensive plan and recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners. And I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions? Apparently not.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. All right, is the applicant present?
Thank you. Shelley Johnson, 6400 Madison Street, and I have been sworn. We do have our team here today to answer any questions or concerns that come up. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on this property, a little history. I'm sure the staff will share it with you as well, but this actually was known as the Rux MPD. I don't know if any of you remember it from 2004. We did it, a Rux West MPD and a Rux East MPD in the city of Zephyr Hills. So this thing has been around forever. It ultimately became the Cobblestone MPD, and when it was the Cobblestone MPD, the parcel that we're amending right now today, or trying to amend, actually had a commercial component to it, or entitlement to it. It was called Parcel A, and it had 170,000 square feet of commercial on it, along with a C2 specific use for a grocery store with a minimum size of 100,000 square feet. So there was a pretty significant amount of commercial development that was supposed to go on this parcel. Ultimately, the light that was supposed to go at the corner of Chancey and Gall Boulevard got moved south by FDOT, which kind of changed the dynamics of the situation. So we are here to answer any questions, address any concerns. So.
Okay, are there any questions from up here? Okay, so who do we have signed up?
Mr. Chair, the individual that we had signed up for this item was signed up for both item 8 and 9. Would you like to hear the presentation for the MPUD?
Let's just hear the item for 8 and 9. You already did 8, so let's hear 9.
Good afternoon, Planning Commission members. Kurt Syverson of Planning Development and Economic Growth. I hope you enjoyed your coffee. I'm too old to have caffeine after noon.
You're still late. And just remember that.
This is the Gagney MPUD. Agenda item PDE 267832. So this is a rezoning request from an MPUD Master Plan Unit Development District to an MPUD Master Plan Unit Development District. The sought entitlement is a maximum development of 300 multifamily apartment units and 30,000 square feet of commercial. This is in the East Market area within Commissioner Oakley's district. Here's the site within the county. This is a location of the subject site at the southeast corner of Gall Boulevard and Chancey Road. As I said, the current zoning is an expired NPUD zoning district, which necessitates a new zoning action. As heard before, the residential element has a companion comprehensive plan use amendment from Res 9 to Res 24, which would enable the sought entitlement of 20 units, approximately 20 units per acre, and the commercial uses are utilizing the existing COM flu designation on the corner. Here's our context map. The site lies approximately 1.5 miles south of the Zephyr Hills Municipal Airport. The applicant has met the criteria of Land Development Code Section 605 that requires permissible land uses, a maximum building height, and a hold harmless agreement, all of which have been incorporated within the conditions of approval. Here's our MPUD master plan. These shaded areas are right-of-way conveyance on Gall Boulevard to FDOT and Crystal Springs Road. Development of the Gagney MPUD includes a developer obligation to improve Crystal Springs Road from their southern boundary, continuing where the cobblestone MPUD has improved Crystal Springs Road, to the terminus of Chansey Road. The arrows indicate vehicular and pedestrian access points of the commercial and the residential elements of the project. Here is our binding concept plan. This illustrates the building orientation of the residential element. Here, the multifamily buildings shield the parking from passerby traffic of Gall Boulevard, Crystal Springs Road, and they frame Stony Woods Drive, which houses existing residences as part of the cobblestone MPUD. The commercial element is in the corner there in red. They propose C1 neighborhood commercial uses. They are requesting one gas station, and in the event a gas station is sought by the developer, we have design standards incorporated within the conditions of approval. PDE recommends approval to the Board of County Commissioners of the proposed zoning amendment request with conditions. I'm available should you have any questions.
All right, any questions? Nothing? All right, is the applicant present? Again? Shelley, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, thank you. We're just here to answer any questions y'all have.
Okay, just give your name and address again, Shelley.
Shelley Johnson, 6400 Madison Street, and I have been sworn.
Thank you very much. Okay. We have some people lined up to speak.
The only individual I have signed up to speak on this item is a Mr. Wayne Schuler.
Okay, Mr. Schuler. Mr. Schuler, if you just give us your name, address, and you've been sworn?
I've been sworn.
Okay.
Wayne Schuler, 3510 Glosson Circle, Zephyr Hills, Florida.
Okay, thank you.
I'm new at this, and this is my first time, but I'm urging a no vote on all these items that I've listed on my request. The cumulative impact of these proposals and recently completed developments all along these corridors from 56, Gall Boulevard, Chansey Road, worsen already significant travel in this area. Sit in lights 2-3 times as they change before you get to the intersection. Traffic's terrible. These proposals will also directly affect groundwater, destroy wetlands, tree removal, and add extensive impervious services. The changes will contribute directly to increased flooding north of this area and all the way into Zephyr Hills by altering the natural flow of the Hillsborough River. During the hurricane, once in every 100 years they have one, but for months they brought water from Zephyr Hills and dumped it into these parcels where you want to develop them all of a sudden. They dumped thousands and thousands of gallons of water for months. They were hauling 8,000 gallons of water in a truck, 20 trucks. It was a mess. Any of this land, Crystal Spring roads, all that water was released to go to the river. A lot of areas in Zephyr Hills are already flooding. We don't need them to bring in hundreds of loads of topsoil to get all these places elevated so they can build on them. It's too much right now until Zephyr Hills figures out how to get the groundwater to the Hillsborough River. You're getting way ahead of the game here. I don't want to bring up the flooding. It's old news to most people. But it's important that once you start raising and building up these pads, that water's got to go someplace. And none of the ditches are prepared for this water to move. It's terrible that the Pasco County has given building permits out to everybody and doesn't have any concern for the small people. I'm in a neighborhood of 30 trailers, and we're always flooded now because everybody's raised their land up around our neighborhood. I know you guys got a lot of other things on your mind, but I've been in Florida for 20 years now. My family's been here since the 60s. Vote no, please.
Thank you very much. Is there anything, last things you wanted to say? Anything else?
No, I'm kind of upset. I've been trying to get my commissioner to do something.
You have to speak into the microphone, I'm sorry.
I've been trying to get my county commissioner to do something and help me out, and I've made a few trips to his office, and he's pretty busy. So I've gone through the county and now Swift Mud, so I'm just upset that we're going to try and block the ground flow of water going to the Hillsborough River when Zephyr Hills can't take care of it now. So please, vote no, until we get some kind of ability to take care of the water. I mean, anybody that saw all that water flooding over on Eland Boulevard should know better than approve anything until they get some way for the groundwater to move.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, there was nobody else on the list?
Correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Is there anybody that wanted to speak that hasn't spoken on this particular item, not on the list? Please come forward.
Good afternoon. 35920 Praise Place, Unit 102, Zephyr Hills, Florida. I have sworn. Michaela Kraus.
Okay, thank you.
This is in my town, and to have spoken with my friends and family that live in the town from Milton that had to get replaced. You know, they lost their home to flooding, and I don't know where you guys live, but this place floods really bad, and these numbers and these maps, great, but I want to know how many pounds of, dirt they're going to be bringing in, raising this land up, because you should let the low-lying neighborhoods that have been there for a long time, hey, you guys might want to move or evacuate, because it's bad. It's scary. And I really hope you think about these poor souls and lives that aren't here today and don't know about this and won't know about it until something catastrophic happens. So
Okay.
I really hope you consider the residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yes, I'm Cliff Moffett. I live in Crystal Springs. My main concern is the roads. The traffic is horrendous. If you look, this was an accident I witnessed on Chancey Road with a bicyclist. Did you get to see that? Yes, I did witness it. I did
I'm
take a
sorry.
picture of it.
You got to speak to the microphone,
Yep.
okay?
So I did witness this, the gentleman getting hit on a bicycle because of traffic and the lights. There is no lights. There is no stop. Everybody's just crazy. And this is going to force more and more people onto Crystal Springs Road. They're going to have to go out onto Chancey Road, which is the most dangerous road you can try to get out on. There is no turn lanes. There's no lights. There's no nothing. There's not even a roundabout.
Okay.
So my main concern, plus they had taken away, we had a fire department, and they took it away 2 years ago. They said because there is no growth in Crystal Springs. They says there is no growth going your way, so that you do not rank a fire department, so they moved it. But look, it is now. Now Crystal Springs, the whole road's going crazy. And yes, the locals are going to get flooded out. So that is my main concern, is the traffic and the dangerous situation like this young man got hit today on a bicycle.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have the applicant back up, and they'll see if they can answer some of those questions. I think we all want to know the answers to those. So, anybody else? If not, would the applicant like to come back up and address some of those concerns?
Definitely. Thank you again, Shelley Johnson, 6400 Madison Street, and I have been sworn. There was a stormwater question. This particular property has been considered part of we have an agreement that we're working on. It's not going to get recorded until after we're through this process, but we're going to have a shared stormwater pond with MI in the Cobblestone MPD. It's their Pond 4. And there's already been calculations and everything to consider this particular development as proposed.
Can we put some pictures up so somebody can see
Yeah,
something?
to address it.
So they can know what we're talking about?
I think it's just the stormwater question, and that the stormwater is actually going to Cobblestone with an
Yeah,
agreement
but we need
that
to
they
show
have.
people that on the map.
Sure. You'll see it. It's a pond that's on the south side on the aerial. I think it's already under construction.
Somebody gonna bring up the map?
There you go. If you see,
Okay.
there's a stormwater pond.
Do you have a pointer?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys want me to? Is it working?
It's working. I don't know if everybody can see it, but
So if you see this, there's an access road, you can see it on the north side of this aerial. It's called Stonywood Road. That is going to be built by MI. That's going to be a shared access road for this property and the development, part of the Cobblestone development to the south. Oh, thank you. What were you hitting? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. There you go. This is the pond. It's called Pond 4. And so that's going to be a shared stormwater pond with this particular property that we're dealing with to the north. Again, it was part of the Cobblestone and the Rocks MPUD. It was all kind of coming together long-term,
so that big round area there, it's a wetland area, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and so what you're doing is you're adding extra space for water to drain into.
Yes, the design of that stormwater pond is.
I think those are the things we need to explain to people because
Yeah, so they
right
know.
now, they got the impression that you're just gonna come in there and build on that thing and water's gonna go everywhere. So I think they need to understand what you're gonna do there.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's definitely not what's going to occur. It's going to obviously comply with all of the codes and Swift mud permitting and everything, but that has been kind of the long-term plan, is that that's going to be the stormwater pond for this northern parcel, which was known as Parcel A before it was out of the Cobblestone MPD. As far as roads, I think roads was the second question that we had gotten, and that really, there's a lot of road improvements and pedestrian improvements that are going to be going on around this property. I don't know, can you move this down a little bit, or maybe another aerial? I could show it a little better.
If you can pull it down a little bit.
Just a little. There you go. So if you look at the road, so this is Crystal Springs Boulevard. So this development is going to be improving that road from its southern boundary all the way to Chancey Road. 80-foot typical improvement, width improvement. It's going to actually match what Cobblestone is doing to the south of this property.
So how many lanes is that gonna be?
I think it's 2 lanes. I don't know if it includes a multi-use path or a sidewalk. So it should include a multi-use path and a 5-foot sidewalk as well. On Chancey Road, what they're going to build, because FDOT is 4-laning this road at some point, there's likewise both pedestrian, multi-use and pedestrian improvements. So they're suggesting doing a multi-use on the west side, a sidewalk on the east side. So this improvement here that we're doing on Chancey will then tie into that corner there and those
So
pedestrian improvements. So
would you explain to everybody what a multi-use path is?
So a multi-use path is wider than a sidewalk, and it'll allow bikers, other uses along the way. So you're going to have a lot of really nice pedestrian improvements around this property. You're going to have some nice road improvements around this property. You'll have that new road going in on the south side. You have nice buffering. So it should be a very nice development, and there's going to be a lot of nice things coming along with it, so, for that
So
area.
you have a multi-use path on the one side and a sidewalk on the other side.
Yeah, so you're going to have a multi-use path and a sidewalk on Crystal Springs Boulevard. You'll have a sidewalk on Chansey, at least for the property boundaries that we're addressing, out to Gall Boulevard and 301. And then FDOT has a planned improvement to 4-lane 301. They're going to do a multi-use path on the west side, and they're going to do a sidewalk on the east side. So it'll actually be surrounded by sidewalks and multi-use paths. So.
And when is that going to happen? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know that it's been funded or it's scheduled. I just know that it's planned that at some point they're going to 4-lane that road. We're going to have access out to Crystal Springs Road and then obviously down to the southern road to Stonywood Road that MI is building. So, and then eventually Gall Boulevard when it's.
So is there anybody here from transportation that can speak to the improvements? William?
Good afternoon, William Vermillion, Planning and Development. FDOT is done with the design, but they do not yet have construction funding for 301.
For 301?
Yes, sir.
That's the red road?
Yes, sir, and a part of that construction funding is also getting right-of-way, so what this project is doing is getting the right amount of right-of-way from center line to match what cobblestone dedicated to the south.
And who's responsible for Crystal Springs Road?
Crystal Springs Road is the project before you today. They'll be matching the typical section that was built further south with a 12-foot path on the west side and a 5-foot sidewalk on the east side, as well as the responsibility of constructing a 10-foot multi-use path on the south side of Chansey Road.
So, William, I don't think you're telling the complete story, though. Where is that road on the MPO's priority list?
The exact number on the MPO's LRTP, I believe it's at the top of the LRTP. It's just it's a funding issue with FDOT that they're working through right now.
So you estimate when? When would you estimate?
I couldn't give you an estimate, unfortunately, with
DOT is
FDOT.
not giving
Okay. But
a date. Usually when a road is at the top of the MPO's priority list, it means DOT tries to get it into the program as soon as it can.
Okay. Anything else, Will, you want to add?
I guess just for some further color, as a part of the timing and phasing application, we have the applicant provide their percentage of project trips on the road. And so this project, you're looking anywhere between 1% and 3% of the overall capacity of the area. So they're not responsible for any existing failures or mitigation that would be required for improvements to 301.
Okay. Would anybody on the board here like to speak to the water issue? Or anybody from the county?
Check, there are more floodplains on the property than what shows on the FEMA current maps. Swift Mud's map, however, they're not extensive and they appear to be shallow. And I can tell you from experience that if they attempt to displace this floodplain with fill, they will be required to mitigate for it and literally cut for cut. So I don't have much concern about floodplain erosion for the project.
Okay. All right. Does the applicant have anything else to add? Okay. And everybody's spoken on this one?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what's the pleasure of the board?
Recommend approval.
So we have a motion to recommend approval of PC8 and PC9. Do I have a second?
I'd rather you take them up individually.
Okay, we'll take them individually. We have a motion on PC8, right, John? And do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion of that motion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, like sign? Okay, and do we have anything on PC9?
PC9.
Do we have a second on that one?
I'll second again.
Okay, any further discussion on PC 9? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, motion carries on 8 and 9. And I hope everybody has a little more information than before.
The next item on the agenda is item PC 11. Actually, before we get to item PC 11, I did want to make a note that item PC 10, there were walk-ons that were submitted to the clerk's office earlier this week. Item PC 11 had a, it's
Skipping
P-
PC
So,
10?
10
sorry,
was
say that one
approved as consent.
Yeah, 10.
PC 10 was approved on consent earlier in the meeting.
yeah.
Item PC 11, this item was pulled. It's PDE 262115. It's a variance request in the name of Donald and Angelique Barlow Kersley for a request to reduce the rear yard setback from 50 feet to 17 feet in an AC agricultural district as required by LDC Section 503.8.c, located in North Pasco County on Trilby Road, approximately 0.3 miles north of the intersection of Trilby Road and Blanton Road, containing approximately 10.6 acres, to be presented by staff.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Amy Toll with Planning Development and Economic Growth. Item before you today is PDE 26-2115 in the name of Trilby Road variance. The variance is a request to reduce the rear yard setback in an AC agricultural district from 50 feet to 17 feet. So the petition number is VA-2115. It is a zoning variance. The current zoning district, as previously noted, is AC agricultural. Future land use is AG agricultural. The purpose is to reduce the required rear yard setback in the AC agricultural district from 50 feet to 17 feet, and the location is at 32005 Trilby Road, which is approximately 0.3 miles north of Blanton Road. Here's a visual of the subject site. It is within the North Market area and Northeast Pasco Rural Area, or Rural Area 1. Here's a context map showing the subject site in proximity to Blanton Road. Your close-up aerial view. The subject site's future land use of AG. The zoning of AC, agricultural. Here's the property survey map that shows the barn and the single family, which has been converted into a single family dwelling. I'll go into the findings of fact of that. So the subject site, just project overview, consists of agricultural pursuits, a barn that was converted into a single family dwelling, another barn, and an additional structure. The subject site is unplatted on 10.16 acres. So in 2001, there was an unfinished detached barn that was built because the subject site is zoned agricultural, so it was for agricultural activities. The barn was considered an accessory structure to the primary use of agriculture, which is permitted as a principal use. In November of 2016, the previous property owner built the barn in addition to a two-stall garage addition. Eventually, they were converted into the single-family dwelling that's in a request today. On March 31st, 2023, the applicant actually purchased the property after these changes were made, and they purchased the property under the presumption that it was a residence. So on October 30th in 2025, the applicant received a citation warning for the unpermitted structure, which resulted in this variance request. And with that, we actually recommend approval of the proposed variance with conditions that's set forth in the recommended conditions section below.
Okay.
Sure. Which slide would you like?
That one, that's,
Okay.
it says in 2001, the unfinished barn was built as bona fide agriculture.
Mhm.
And then in 2016, the previous property built a barn, two-stall garage addition. Do we know in 2016, did the property have an agricultural
I don't know the answer
Agriculture.
to that, but I could probably find that out fairly quickly. Sure.
Okay, anything else? Thank you, Amy. Think you can find that out today? Okay. All right. The applicant present? Okay. You want to come forward, or is there anybody here to object?
Mr. Chair, I did have one individual signed up to speak on this, Ms. Linda Ward.
Ms. Linda Ward? Pardon me? No, I'm sorry, you can't speak from the floor. You just need to come to the mic. We can't get it on tape and if you don't. Sorry to make you come all the way up, but we need your name and address.
It's Linda Ward, 31915 Trilby Road. And I have been on that property since '93, when I purchased it from Dr. Beatty. And just after, I would say 96, maybe 97, the people that owned it then were the Williamses. Evelyn, I forget his name, but they actually lived in the barn that was there. They may have added on to it since,
Right.
but they lived in that dwelling itself and had a contractor come in and put a little kitchen, little bathroom, so on and so forth. But that's the only thing I can add, other than why they'd be made an issue now. I just didn't understand that.
Okay. No, I don't think so.
No, I
Okay,
think
all right.
they should be able to stay. They're wonderful people.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can take over the pie later. Would the applicant have anything to comment? Okay. Any questions from up here? If not, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Enjoy your residence.
Aye.
And the pie, yeah.
Item P12, it's the first item on the regular agenda. It's PDE 267863, a zoning amendment in the name of Jorge and Rosa Oliveras, Jorge Oliveras, for a change in zoning from AR Agricultural Residential District with conditions to AR Agricultural Residential District, located in east central Pasco County on the southwest side of US Highway 98 and approximately 300 feet north of Townsend Road, containing approximately 3.32 acres, to be presented by staff.
Okay.
Hello again.
Yes.
Amy Tull, Planning and Development, Economic Growth. So the item before you is actually interesting, so it does have a story that goes with it, so I'll try to present it in the best way possible. Item before you is PDE 26-7863. It is a zoning amendment request from AR Agricultural Residential with conditions to AR Agricultural Residential. The proposal is a rezoning amendment. The current zoning is AR Agricultural Residential District with conditions. It was conditioned back in 2006. The change is to remove those conditions to allow for further splitting of their subject site. The future land use is Res 3, residential 3 dwelling units per gross acre, and they are seeking this change to subdivide the parcel into 3 lots with a dwelling unit on each lot in conformance with the AR Agricultural Residential District standards for development. It is located on the southwest side of US Highway 98, approximately 300 feet of Townsend Road. Here's a location map showing the general proximity in the East Market area. Here's an aerial view of the subject site. So the subject site is part of the rezoning that occurred and actually falls along this entire triangle area. So the conditions of the rezoning apply on this whole area, not just the subject site itself. Here's a context map showing the area in proximity to the city limits. The future land use is Res 3, residential 3 dwelling units per gross acre. And the zoning is AR, agricultural residential. This boundary survey is to show that the subject site of the rezoning, I'll go into the conditions for this. What ended up occurring in 2006 is that they were deed restricted to a certain number of units on this entire triangular piece. They were permitted 14 acres, 14 acres on the west side. Give it back. 14 acres on the west side. This can get 6 units. 10 acres on the east side can achieve 4 units for a total of 10 units in this area. So the subject site, actually, I'll just go through I think it's better for me just to explain it to you. So the subject site is one of 4 current parcels. So as you can see here, it's one of 4 parcels. This area is currently restricted to 4 units. 2 of these 4 parcels are constructed with 1 residential unit. Therefore, there are 2 units left available for this area per the conditions in the deed restriction. The challenge that staff, PDE, has with this, and so I'll go through some of the conditions and then we can go into a deeper conversation. These are just some of the findings of facts to show that it's currently having a mobile home on the 3 acres. That 3 acres is what they want to split into 3 1-acre lots. What will end up happening, they want to remove the cap so they can construct their homes. What will end up happening, staff is proceeding with a recommendation of denial, which is why I'm going a little bit out of order. Staff's recommendation of denial on this is not necessarily because we don't disagree with what they want to do. Unfortunately, as a result of these deed restrictions that occurred or conditions that occurred on the rezoning of the total 24 acres, if we were to remove the conditions for this one subject site, those limitations, the density limitations, would still apply. So inadvertently, if we were enabling them to remove these restrictions and split their lot into 3 lots to get 2 more units, that would take away the units from the other people who are still currently under this limited restriction. Unfortunately, during the review process, we attempted to contact the property owners in this entire area. The applicant also attempted to contact the property owners in this entire area. They are under an LLC that is no longer active. So unfortunately, we are not unable to get in touch with them to try to bring them into this potential rezoning. So because of those facts and the potential inadvertent issue that would be resulting of this proposed rezoning, staff is recommending denial of the proposed. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you have a solution for us?
It is up to the Planning Commission Board's discretion as to how we would proceed with this. Res 3? Correct. Yeah.
So basically, they're asking for 1 additional unit.
Originally, they were asking to split the lot into 3 lots. So it's currently 1 lot. They would have to do a subdivision plan to get 3 lots total. We have worked with them previously. They have brought that down to keeping the existing home that is there, coming in for an ADU so the mother can have her residence and give her son the mobile home, and then split it so she can give the other half to her other son who wants to construct a home.
Okay. So, okay. Is the applicant present, by the way? Okay.
Describe this as a deed restriction at one point, and this is zoning condition.
There's both.
There is both?
There's both.
Okay.
Yeah, the zoning was from 2006, and back then they were conditioning those zonings.
But there is a deed restriction?
There's also a deed restriction.
The county, if
So, are you talking about the zoning condition or the? Either one, yes. Both of them would have to be,
But we can
get
only
rid of
speak
both
to
of them.
the,
They're both binding at this point.
but we can only speak to the deed, I mean, to the zoning.
But to answer the chairman's question, the only solution I can think of that doesn't negatively impact the other property owners that are subject to that restriction would be if that property owner is not going to come in and also rezone, county-initiated rezoning of all of the lots.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we just don't have the authority to do that at this time since we can't get in touch with the surrounding property owners.
If it's county-initiated, you could as a county-initiated rezoning.
Based on direction.
Okay, and who,
That's not what's before you today, is it?
yeah.
Correct.
You don't have a county-initiated rezoning before you today.
So if, I don't see any reason not to try to help if we can, so, I don't know how the board feels, but if there's a way to do it, maybe we ought to specify how that could be done, and then we can vote one way or the other.
Yeah, could you walk through that? It's kind of confusing. Could you walk through that once more, just so
Sure.
we're crystal clear on it?
Sure. So in 2006, there was a rezoning that conditioned this entire triangle area. At that point in time, it was split into the two lots that you see here. And in that rezoning, the western side was limited to 6 lots on 14 acres, and the eastern side was limited to 4 lots on the 14 acres. In the conditions, let's just be fair, the math isn't mathing because they're saying there's a total of 14 units, so that the 6 plus 4 is 10 units. But that's just, we'll just say it's a Scrivener's error on that side. So basically, we'll go to this one. So that was 2006 delineation, and in 2018, this was split off. This is a parent parcel. It still remained the same. And then in 2021, I believe, these two were created. And out of those 4 lots, there are 2 constructed homes and 2 vacant lots. So there are essentially 2 units, 2 homes still available to utilize in this space. If we were to allow them to do that currently, it would almost treat it as like a first come, first served basis and inadvertently restrict the other 2 vacant parcels if we keep it as is.
But there is a unit on
theirs.
the subject
That's
property.
why I asked the
Currently, yes.
question.
So they could be grandfathered?
Whether it was a zoning condition or a deed restriction. Because if it's a zoning condition, I understand where Amy has a problem. If it's a deed restriction, the county would just lift the deed restriction and then everybody would gain the same benefit.
But it's a zoning condition, and this applicant is not seeking to lift the zoning condition on their neighbor's property.
Yeah.
If they were, we wouldn't be in this situation.
So what do you recommend as a solution?
I think that's why Amy said if they had come in with their neighbors together as a team to lift this restriction, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah. So the fear is penalizing the other.
Yeah.
This is the-
Otherwise, like David had mentioned.
This
it
is the
would have to be
applicant, so
county.
let me see what questions she might have. Don't go
Hi.
far, Amy.
My name is Rosa Oliveira, my husband, Jorge Oliveira. So in that corner lot where she said that there was a parent lot, they sold the home, they abandoned it. They sold it to someone that apparently was wanting to do like commercial. So that house is empty, stripped, there's nobody living there.
Is that the mobile home?
No, it's a block home.
And it's on that
On
pink,
the-
on
on
that
the
pink
corner.
triangle? Okay.
Yeah.
On the other
No,
triangle, on the other
on
corner.
the
Yeah, the triangle.
Southeast
Yep.
corner. Chuck.
Here it went away, they were no problem.
So there is no one to be found. Even the letters that I sent out to let them know that there was going to be a public hearing, they all have returned back to me. Return to sender. I have all 4 letters that were addressed that was provided by
Amy?
the county. So
Okay.
no one to be found. The last that I
Could
heard,
we
my
do
husband
that?
had spoken to the
County?
person that bought, I guess, the 14
Can we do
acres.
something where the county would take the action?
And apparently
Is that something
he
we can
is
recommend?
a Canadian that purchased that and what he wanted to do was basically make like commercial and or residential and make money.
Well, it seems like one possible solution is for the, if we can, if somebody wanted to make a motion that we do a county-initiated rezoning for the entire property so that everybody would be treated fairly.
It would be either the 4 lots that are limited to the, well, yeah, I guess, it's up to you. David, correct me if I'm wrong. It could either be the 4 lots that are limited to the 4 units or the entire thing that's limited to the 10 units.
The big piece and the other 4.
That's really a planning question, because if the planning commission doesn't feel there's any basis for the original restriction at all, then it makes sense to just lift it on the entire thing. I mean, at a minimum, you would need to lift it on the 4 lots, because
Right.
that's what's causing the problem. But if you don't feel like it makes sense on the other side either, you could just have the entire restriction lifted.
Yeah, well, I think it would make sense at a minimum to make a motion to do a county-initiated rezoning on at least the 4 lots.
I mean, I will say that, again, a planning issue, not a legal issue, but the character of this particular location probably has changed slightly because of the surrounding area. I mean, it looks like there's been some pretty substantial road improvements in this area
It already has the roundabout in front.
since it was originally, back when this restriction was imposed. So I'm not sure that the density limitation that was originally imposed necessarily still makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's a planning issue, not a, we'll have to decide. But it may make some sense if you're gonna lift the restrictions and just lift it on the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're, to me, it doesn't make sense if you're gonna lift it on the 4 lots to keep it on the other 6, but
Yeah, I agree.
kind of similarly situated, they're at the same intersection.
Okay.
And if you look right next door, there's a project that looks like it has quite a few, pretty high density. I don't know what that is.
And disappeared again. Now there it is.
Amy, what is that project to the west that's?
All right, well,
That right
They,
there is the mobile home park.
This is a recommendation of denial. Are there people here that are in support of? Heard if there's opposition. I guess
Yeah, I
the
know.
opposition would be you want it
we're just
approved.
talking about what,
I don't know.
right now, we're just talking about solutions, but,
I believe that staff is recommending denial primarily because of the impact on the vacant landowners.
Unintended, right, impact. Yep.
I get it. You're saying before we make a motion.
May I speak?
Opposition
Yes, you should be
exists.
hearing if there's anybody else in here.
yes,
Sorry, I brought something that, to read over, because I get nervous. It's
you
my
went through
first
all that
time doing
work, so you
this.
want to make sure you use it. Huh?
So good afternoon to, I didn't know if I was going to be in front of a judge, so Your Honor, commissioners, chairman, leaders, because this is obviously my first time. We have been residents of Pasco County, Dade City, since 1980s. Our petition is to remove all restrictions and allow us, Jorge and Rosa Oliveras, to divide the property into 3 parcels. Our American dream is to be able to pass on inheritance to our 2 sons, Fabian and Caleb Oliveras, and the generations to come. By allowing for 3 parcels, we'll allow them to build homes adjacent to our home. Each parcel will have at least a minimum of 1 acre. We have lived previously in the neighborhood in Wesley Chapel, 4312 Huddlestone Drive, where there was HOA restrictions and had to sell what we thought was our forever home because of restrictions. Unable to park on our driveway, company, truck, etc., because it was restricted by the HOA. We purchased land in Dade City in hopes of getting away from restrictions on our property. We have endured 2.5, since March, 2 years of this, to rezone this parcel and have the capability to divide it into 3 portions, and have spent thousands, and when I say thousands, I'm not kidding, it's been about 40 to 50K in this process. We're not asking to build apartments, complexes, neighborhoods, or trailer parks that make profit. We just want to live our American dream and pass generational wealth to our sons. This vision was started by my father, Jorge Reyes. May he rest in peace. He just passed in March. My siblings, Jorge Reyes, Diana Wigfall, and my mother, Ida Reyes, live down the road on 98. My mom's address is 10217 US Highway 98, Dade City. It's my parents in the middle, my brother, and my sister on each side. So it will be in his honor for this to know that his little girl has been able to fulfill this dream, to have all his family nearby.
Okay,
That's all I have to say.
that's great. Thank you very much. Was there anybody else here to speak on this?
Can you come back, ma'am?
He does that to everybody.
Department of Transportation.
DOT has been involved in this. Yeah, they're already approved and everything. We had to go, like when I said we had to go through a lot, we have gone through a lot for the past 2 years.
If the county opted to initiate a rezoning over all of these affected properties, Amy talked about 2 different options you had. One was splitting the lot once and building an ADU on one.
Correct.
Selling the other lot to a sibling or child.
My oldest son, Fabian.
And then the other option is dividing the lot into 3 parcels.
The current mobile home that we're living in, and the reason why we put a mobile home was because we obviously didn't want to tie up the rest of the property.
Had I asked you if you've spoken to DOT?
Yes.
Advised you of this?
They're going to give us 1 driveway. Yes. They're aware and they know.
There's
Yeah.
another issue.
Yeah.
If you make this 3 lots, that qualifies as something called a common plan of development, and you will be subject to SWIFT stormwater rules, and you'll be subject to the DOT stormwater rules.
Yeah.
After you're done meeting them, you won't have any property left, or much property left to build your house.
Yeah, so
So I liked Amy's first suggestion of simply splitting the lot and building the ADU. I'm just letting you know, I don't know if you've spoken to an engineer or somebody, but if you cut this into 3 lots, you may open up a very expensive boondoggle that you're not anticipating.
So we have an engineer. She wasn't able to come and be present. But as far as what the planning was by DOT, there was not going to be a requirement for what you're saying. There was going to be,
DOT is not Swift Mud.
yeah,
Saying the
there
minute
was
you
going to
do this
be,
into 3 lots, you will trigger those regulations. You will also trigger our county's subdivision regulations.
which we are willing to just split it into and do like a ADU.
Yes, that would be the
That sounds like,
wisest.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the simplest.
So initially, when we purchased the land, the property, we had gone to here, to the courthouse, well, across, and found out that we were able to split the property at that time, but then it basically came to this, that we were told incorrectly that we were not able to split the land into.
All right. So, yeah, I think what John's saying is probably the simplest solution is the ADU, that route. Would that be, you'd find that helpful?
Just want to make sure that you understand that, that's all. I'm fully in support of where Chairman Gray is heading with this thing. I just want to make sure that you don't accidentally trip yourself up if all this happens in your favor.
Okay, so, and there's nobody else here to speak on this? Amy, you have anything else to add, any comments?
Amy, if you could back up to the podium, so explain to me why the county did not initiate a rezoning originally?
Just because it's, basically, we need the property owners to give us the authority to do those changes unless the board gives us that direction.
What do you, planning commission recommend, so what do you need?
We can either convert this into a county-initiated and bring in the rest of the parcels, or we can leave this standalone with the direction of bringing the remaining parcels in during a county-initiated.
County-initiated rezoning requires different types of notice, so I don't think you can just convert this rezoning to a county-initiated rezoning.
Then the question would be whether or not we proceed with this as is, with the assumption of what the recommendation would be, or we pause it and come back next month with a staff initiated, with everything. And I'm not sure, David, you could probably help with this, if it's up to the planning commission to make that decision, or if it's up to the board to make that decision.
Staff has initiated rezonings and plan amendments before.
Yeah, plan amendments are a little different. They're not subject to that level of approval from the property owners.
So you're referring to the rule that says that you have 75% of the property owners unless it's the board?
I'm not aware of that, no. I was just under the presumption that zoning matters. If you are doing a rezoning or changing any zoning, it is required to have the property owner's authority to do that.
It's not true for board-initiated zoning, but let me just.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to speak for everybody on the board at the moment, but I think the whole idea is to try to solve this problem without creating any more expense for this applicant.
Of course.
And there must be a way that we can do that. And
Board initiated.
Well, there is a rule that I thought that Amy was referring to. about who can initiate applications.
Now, one thought, hate to say another deed restriction, but since this is rezoning to agriculture, there is a required deed restriction for the live local. Perhaps we can condition it to allow them to continue moving forward with a condition in the deed restriction that says this isn't effective until the county initiates. The remaining is an option.
Not sure how that really gets them anywhere. We're gonna have to wait till,
It would just delay their time of effectiveness.
and delay the time until they can do anything anyway.
Yeah.
How that really helps them.
Recommend approval on the condition.
Right, something along those lines.
Recommend approval of the current proposed rezoning with the condition.
I mean, you could approve it, but I mean, the downside is that that person basically lost their development rights until the county initiates something.
Mhm.
We condition including rezoning. I didn't think we condition including rezoning.
No, we can't.
Right.
That's why the deed
I thought you
restriction
said
is
we
like
could
your
do it.
little Band-Aid to do that.
I'm not so worried about the property, the people we can't find. Evidently, they're not that interested.
Yeah, they came in for an MPUD a few years ago, but it died out. I think it was called Mayfield or Mayflower. It would. And we can guarantee that comes fairly swiftly after this, the county initiated.
So ask the engineers on the board, does that trigger that problem of dividing it into three? If the county initiates it?
Well, if the county initiated rezoning, and we didn't have any zoning or deed restriction problems, by virtue of dividing it into 3 lots, you would trigger the county's subdivision regulations. Going to be called under the Swift Mud rules and DOT's rules. You're going to be considered what's called a common plan of development, which you're going to be treated like a subdivision, which means you'll have one entrance. You're going to have to meet all of their access and drainage criteria. Whereas if they make a simple lot split so that this only becomes 2 lots, then they are exempt from our county subdivision regulations. They will be exempt from Swift Mud regulations, and they will be treated as single-family residences for purposes of driveways by the DOT.
They also have the option for an MRS in this scenario.
All right?
They also have the option for a minor rural subdivision.
This was Res 3?
Oh, yes, thank you. It is Res 3. However, in 2024, the development review, Brad, at that point in time, authorized them to do a variance against the code, so they can do a minor rural subdivision in a Res 3.
Who authorized that?
Brad Tippin, he's no longer with us. So I would say that that would be a fresh determination for today.
Okay, so I found the code provision I was referring to, 42.1A. What it says is that Euclidean zoning amendments can be initiated by the Board of County Commissioners, the petition of owners of 75% or more of the area involved, or the property owner. So staff would either have to get, they obviously can't get the property owner, either have to get 75% or more of the area involved, so they could either get, I don't know if they were able to get the other
3 lots.
Mobile home.
the other group of lots potentially affected. Have you?
Yeah, do we have, how is area being defined? Is there a certain,
There's 75% of the area involved.
Okay, so
I don't know if you include the other, how many lots, is it 6 lots of the other 6? Is it 6?
it's restricted to 6, but it's only 1 lot right now. Are you
Have
talking
you-
about the one
Have you
that's
talked to
highlighted?
that owner?
They're all owned by the same LLC, and they're getting,
Oh, it's all the same owner?
correct.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we can't get in touch with them.
Or the board does it?
Then it would be the board. So the board could initiate for the whole thing. But the board is initiated, I mean, the board is, I'm sure if the staff asked the board to do it in this circumstance, the board.
And instead of a denial, we could adjust our recommendation to seek the board's authority to execute
Board
it
initiated.
Yeah.
But then would that trigger those extra costs for
for the county. Well, for
Well,
them,
for them?
it would just be a holding period for the most part.
You would still come back to the PC for a recommendation, yes?
Correct. Reject the denial.
So I guess in theory, you have to take action on this. Yeah, there's an application before you that you have to act on. You have to either agree with staff's recommendation of denial, continue it, or approve, or go against staff recommendation.
Denial affect any opportunity for the board to initiate?
No. The board could still initiate, because it's a different
So
application.
there's no negative consequence for the applicant for us to deny this?
No, because the initiation would be a different application. It would be on the entire area.
And we can adjust our
Another
recommendation.
option would be to continue this. The board could initiate a rezoning, and this item could be withdrawn at a later date.
That is an option too. You could just continue.
If we continue the item, would we have to bring this specifically to the board for approval? Yeah.
It doesn't get past.
I mean,
So,
one advantage of continuing it would be that if for some reason the board fails to initiate something, then you have the option of moving this forward.
Sounds like
Perhaps
a lot
we
of moving
adjust our
parts on this.
recommendation to seek the board's approval for a staff-initiated rezoning on the specific parcels. Correct. It would be in
Recommend that it does get approved. Board initiated rezoning of the other ones.
perhaps the recommendation can do both. So
Yeah,
the
recommendation
recommendation
to
would be
approve,
to
yeah.
approve this and then ask the board to authorize a companion rezoning. Correct. Something along those lines.
Because we don't want to delay them any longer than we have to. We don't want them to have to pay more money, so.
was that your motion, Matt?
To be clear, a board initiated rezoning would not require them to pay more money because it would be board initiated.
Okay.
But I get your point.
Well, when I say initiate and pay more money, I'm talking about John's comments about the subdivision and so forth. So they really only divided into two and have an
Well,
ADU.
I think John's comments were sort of unrelated to the rezoning.
Right.
Correct.
His comments have more to do with how many lots they elect to,
After it's rezoned.
after it's
Yeah.
rezoned.
Okay,
Wanted to caution the lady.
okay.
I think so.
I second.
Can we please restate that?
Yeah, can we
Sure.
restate the motion? Yeah.
And help me out if I'm,
Help you out.
somebody. The motion is to recommend approval of the rezoning to the board with,
Subject to board
subject to the
initiative.
board initiating a zoning of the additional parcels
Move the
remove the
restriction.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? Okay. Here we go.
Take a break for bathroom.
Yeah. We're going to take about a 5-minute recess, please.
So my dad's brother, he was coming down with my dad was sick in Pennsylvania, right? He was supposed to, he came down 2 weeks ago. So he's been on a Mediterranean cruise. So he was supposed to come out. He was supposed to leave at like 6 o'clock. And he ended up leaving at 11. Okay? So he just flew back from Maryland, got to Philly, and he's not going all the way back to Pittsburgh. He's going to fly all the way here. He was supposed to depart Philly at 6 o'clock today. His flight's already delayed. So he's been flying all day. Now he's sitting in the airport and filling his place in there. That's just I'm gonna do that stuff. How you doing?
Why didn't you come up with that earlier?
I was trying. I'm a civil. Civil. Yep. Yeah, he does a lot of, his work is mostly site development work, that sort of stuff. And then I do, my main focus is water and wastewater treatment and stuff. So I work for a larger firm that does water and wastewater treatment. Nice. Kind of stuff's. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well.
Downhill. Not a big hill, but it's downhill. It doesn't happen. It's very true.
Backing the right of way. And so she's accredited to get the right of way.
I'm actually good, thank you. So I got this. I appreciate it. Now, if you got a coffee or something, that. If you're offering coffee or something.
That's right, Chris. Floodplain.
You can learn a few things.
Bloodshed, watershed.
How is it correct?
Rough crop is if they don't ask for it. If they don't ask for it, I take it for free.
I was. Oh,
Hey,
I
you may sign
a
something?
couple weeks ago sat in on a talk where they're
I got it.
applying all the
Do I need blue?
GIS
I don't know. No, it's
technology.
black.
And
Thanks.
I think my guess is over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to learn a lot about how all that connects more on a broader network. Like we'll look at a point.
Yeah, good idea.
And I think
No time.
it's going to allow us to
time
do
that
the
might be.
permitting and evaluation on a greater scale instead of saying, okay, we're looking at this project and it's closed, we're good. It's going to be this. It's going to be
Chuck's
a
not
broader.
only gonna give us one more bathroom break, so.
I'm usually the one that needs it. That's it? Okay. Thank you, and here's your pen.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is. Yeah. No, I mean, you look at the floodplain. You got the FEMA floodplain. You got the Swift Mud floodplain. They're different. We're learning more about what there actually sits too.
You guys already know how to spell it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's perfect. You guys already have a spelling in that name.
Yeah.
And then I put sometimes we'll start adding frequent flyer.
In charge of maintenance for the school system countywide. Mark Fox.
Oh yeah. That's right.
But the rules that they have to permit the project by require that they maintain the existing magnitude and direction of flow. They're not allowed to change the direction. No, I don't. She's better looking than me. You're always complaining about cars blocking your...
I think it's getting better. I think it is. I used to work for a firm that did
Only if it gets approved.
nothing would go with this. And like a full height inside where there's top. Sometimes like they'll just bring it. Yeah.
Two Rivers.
They'll be like, hey.
Yeah, that's cool.
What were they here for?
Hmm?
What were they here for?
Who?
Confused.
Yeah, we're here for Two Rivers, interviewing people.
No, before, okay, so they're doing the interview before.
We're gonna talk about the Morris Bridge.
I'm ready.
You wanna get on TV? You wanna hop on?
Okay.
Please take your seats. Please take your seats.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Robert Irving, Planning Development Economic Growth. Yeah, it sounded like the microphone wasn't working. Hello? There we go.
There we go.
All right, so the next item is a comprehensive plan amendment. It's item P13. It's CPA 2407, CPAL 2 Rivers, providing for a comprehensive plan text amendment. The sub-area policy flu 7.1.11 Two Rivers PD, and this is file number PDE 260437. All right. As I just mentioned, this is a proposed comprehensive plan text amendment to the policy flu 7.1.11 Two Rivers PD to allow for an increase in residential dwelling units and non-residential entitlements on approximately 3,405 acres. And this is located on the north and south side of State Road 56, spanning from Morris Bridge Road to Gal Boulevard. And there's the accompanying sub-area policy, policy flu 7.11, Rivers PD, and there is a companion rezoning, which will be heard after this. Here's the county location. You can see it in the southeast corner there. The subject property is located in the South Market area and the urban concentration area. Here's the overall boundaries showing the Two Rivers PD. And here's a context map. I'm going to start from west and go east. So to the west of the Two Rivers boundary is the River Landing MPUD, which is approved for a maximum development of 1,999 single-family detached or attached dwelling units, 250,000 square feet of commercial retail uses, and 150,000 square feet of office. Now, just running through the Vision Roads and Collector Roads, you'll see first there's Morris Bridge Road, a county arterial roadway, and then there's Two Rivers Boulevard, Collector Roadway, Colston Avenue, also a Collector Roadway, and then there's State Road 56, an FDOT arterial roadway, and then to the north you'll see Lodgegrass Boulevard and Coates Road, which are also Collector Roadways, and then there's Gall Boulevard, US 301. And then just east of the Two Rivers subject site is the 301 East MPUD, which was approved for a maximum development of 200 townhome units and 36,000 square feet of commercial uses. So this slide right here shows the maximum levels of development. So I will note that there has been non-substantial modifications that have occurred on the MPUD side, which the sub-area policy allows for, and have changed the entitlements. So part of this is to clean up the entitlements to be consistent with the non-substantial modifications that have occurred, and also to incorporate the proposal today. So part of the proposal today is the removal of the age-restricted residential dwelling units. So there's 209 currently remaining, and out of those, 133 would count as trip neutral towards the overall increase in multifamily units. And then there's an additional 767 multifamily units proposed that are non-trip neutral. The applicant also proposed to add 300 assisted living facility beds, 480 hotel rooms, and 705,000 square feet of retail, and a water park not to exceed 35 acres. Sorry. Go back. One thing I just want to note as well, the original sub-area policy that was approved in 2008 allowed for a maximum of 6,400 dwelling units, equating to a gross density of 1.87. The proposal today for 6,547 dwelling units equates to a gross density of 1.92. It's a 0.05 increase proposed. And the proposed amendment is consistent with the following comprehensive plan policies: Section FLU A6 PD Plan Development, Policy FLU 7.1.11 Two Rivers PD, Policy FLU 8.1.2 South Market Area Establishment, Policy FLU 1.8.7 Economic Development, Policy FLU 1.8.10 Preservation of Capacity for Employment Generating Uses, Policy HSG 1.1.2 Comprehensive Plan Amendments, Policy ED 1.7.2 Promote Tourism Expansion. And this comes to you with a recommendation that you find the proposed amendment consistent with the comprehensive plan and recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners. I'm available if you have any questions.
Can you go back
Okay.
over the density again?
Mm-hmm. What was that? What was it?
Can you go back over the density number?
Yeah, and I think honestly on the MPUD presentation, it'll be a little clearer because I'll have it shown. But additionally, the density is going to be a little bit different because due to the last non-subs, there's actually an overall decrease of the current approval of the overall units since they exchanged a lot of the units, but it's relatively close. But the density that I have was 1.87 as the existing approved today, and this is from a gross standpoint, and the proposal is a 1.92.
Okay, I think you just answered my question.
It's just from the gross perspective.
That's on the gross acreage,
Yes.
so that's including the areas allocated for retail, industrial, water parks, hotels.
Correct, and that's because multifamily.
So what would the density be if it were just based on the residential portion of the PD?
I can pull that up at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a reason why also that it was calculated on the overall is because majority of the mixed use parcels also can accommodate for a residential component. So there is, I will say, yes, the school, the park should be removed from the overall calculation to get you that answer. But beyond that, predominantly all of the parcels allow for a residential component, which will be clarified in the MPUD presentation.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? No. All right, the applicant present.
Mr. Chairman, Clark Hobby, Hobby and Hobby, PA, 109 North Breast Street, Tampa, Florida. I've been sworn. We're going to make a joint presentation, so I was hoping staff might make the MPUD presentation,
Okay.
then I can follow that.
Okay, thank you.
So this is the Two Rivers MPUD substantial modification. This is item PDE 267856. Here's the county location again, which I'm sure we're familiar with at this point. And the proposal, again, is a substantial modification to the Two Rivers MPUD master plan unit development to allow for the maximum development of 4,047 single-family detached units, 2,500 multifamily units, 1,335,000 square feet of office target industry, 1,335,000 square feet of industrial, 1,335,000 square feet of retail, 300 beds for an assisted living facility, 480 hotel rooms, and a 35-acre recreational water park on approximately 3,405 acres. So again, here's the location map. The key thing that's showing here is this is to date predominantly parcels that haven't been developed in the overall Two Rivers development, since a lot of this has been built. Again, this is just reflecting the existing zoning of MPUD. So here's the existing master plan. Now, a couple things I want to note here is you'll see in the northeast corner the Two Rivers school site that was contemplated originally and the county park. And the reason why I mention this is only portions of both of these sites was originally acquired, so there's leftover pieces that the applicant proposes to develop with mixed-use development. Another thing I want to point out is you'll see in the northeast corner as well, along the south side of State Road 56, there's mixed-use parcel K, which is also proposed to be expanded, and you'll see that depicted in the next slide here. So here's the proposed master plan today. So again, you'll see now the remaining piece of the Two Rivers school site. On the southern piece is the mixed-use parcel C. And then you'll see just east of the county park parcel, you'll see mixed-use parcel M. And you'll also see on the south side of State Road 56 that mixed-use parcel K is now expanded out. So as I go through the entitlements too as well, for clarification, multifamily entitlements can be the following product types: apartments, two-family, triplex, quadruplex, condominiums, townhomes, villas, and live-work units. And so PD and the applicant work together on this proposal, and of the proposed additional 900 multifamily units, only 240 may be apartments and must be located on mixed-use parcel M or industrial office commercial parcel C. So I think I can, so another thing to point out too, which is big with this, if you see the blue circle up there, that's the proposed conceptual location of that 35-acre recreational water park. Now here's the connectivity plan as well. And on the connectivity plan, you'll see a blue and a purple outline on many of these collector roadways. So there is a 12-foot paved multi-use path running along State Road 56, Colston Avenue. Trying to get this to work. Colston Avenue, Two Rivers Boulevard, Lodgegrass Boulevard, and Coates Road. Now also at there we go. So right here also there's an enhanced pedestrian safe crossing to go from Lodgegrass Boulevard across State Road 56, which will provide a safer access for people accessing the county park and the Two Rivers school site. And then in the bottom, it's kind of hard to see on this plan, but there's a 20-foot path. It's called the Tico Trail. Kind of runs along the southern portion of the subject site. It's not to be improved, it's to be natural. And on the southernmost extent of the subject site, you'll see the continued connectivity into the Hillsborough County side of the Two Rivers development with a 12-foot multi-use path as well along the right of way. So another thing that I want to mention is for the multifamily apartments component of this proposal, PDE worked with the applicant to provide enhanced design standards to provide for better building orientation, parking orientation, landscaping, walkability, and connectivity. And as part of that, we had a updated alternative type 2 typical section for local roadways. So you'll see two 11-foot travel lanes, an 8-foot landscaped area, and then two 10-foot paths on either side. So here's just the overall walkthrough of the current entitlements to date versus what is proposed. And here's again where you will see the density calculation at the bottom, but as I mentioned, it didn't subtract out those areas. My colleague is working on that. The applicant is requesting the following variation from the code, LDC section 805.6, restrictions on post-development wetlands and upland buffers within residential lots and non-residential parcels. The applicant requests to seek relief from the requirement to form a mandatory association or CDD to own and manage open space, drainage areas, common areas, landscape areas, wetland areas, buffers areas, or other special purpose areas when within a multifamily parcel or under a single ownership for any industrial, office, or commercial retail sites. And PDE is amenable to the requested variation. And this comes to you with a recommendation of approval to the Board of County Commissioners of the proposed zoning amendment request with conditions.
Any questions? No? All right, it's the applicant present. Yep.
Mr. Chairman, Clark Hobby again. I'm going to have to put channel 28's mic down here because I won't be able to operate up here. Okay, thank you for putting that up there, Patty. Before I get started on our PowerPoint, I want to give a couple of high-level things. I think staff alluded to it, but it's important to remember the larger context of this project. The project has been planned for many years in the county, and the first comp plan amendments occurred, I think, in 2008. And after that, the county adopted a series of sweeping comp plan changes that resulted in us creating the market areas that we know so well around the county and the urban service area and the urban service expansion area. And those two areas included Two Rivers from the get-go. So the county has known and planned for this project for many, many years, and certainly since 2010. It's a 3,400 acre project. It's hundreds of millions of dollars have already been spent in development on the project, and it's on its way. As staff pointed out, and I'll get to in a little bit more detail, we've been trying to address all segments of commercial development and all the infrastructure that you need for a project of this magnitude, including schools, including a regional park site. And we've already conveyed sites to the county. The county bought a regional park site, and the school board bought a school site where they're planning on doing a K-8 site there. So what you see before you is a project that the county has really thought of as a bookend on the 54-56 corridor for many years now. The county made assumptions about planning certain transit and other transportation improvements along this corridor along many, many years, over 15 years, and I'll get to some of that as we go. And when I'm done with my part of the presentation, I'm going to ask Tony Miller, who's the proposed developer of the surf park that you've already heard about on the site, to come up, explain what he's trying to do and why we think this will be a really great regional and national draw for our area and for Two Rivers. So Two Rivers, the developer, Eisenhower Property Group, is very much aware that this is a land with a great history. The Thomas family owned this property for many generations and took great care of the land itself. It was, a timber operation for many years, but it's also had great hunting, fishing, and wildlife. And in case many of you all don't know, it's the Thomas family that gave the property that created the Hillsborough River State Park that's such a large feature in this area. And actually, my grandfather worked for the CCCs during the Great Depression and helped build the park, so that's always been a point of pride in our family. Again, you saw this staff you saw this map from staff, and what it's showing you, all the areas that are crosshatched or have the other checking on it are areas that are either have been already platted or already have site plan and or construction plan approvals. So a large area of the project's already been approved. So what happened as we were going along over the years and the planning of the project, our client undertook a comprehensive review of the project about 3-4 years ago, and they hired a national firm to come in and do a couple of things. One was they wanted to make sure that they were getting the quality of development that they thought was possible to have on a project of this size. And they felt like there had been a lot of entry-level stuff that had been built in the area, and they thought maybe we could do a little bit better. Then they also looked at the commercial that had been approved on this entire 56 extension, which is over 6 miles, and they determined that there was a significant amount of under-provided commercial in the area. And so that's why we're seeking so much more commercial, and for other reasons I'll explain in a minute. And then lastly, again, this surf park opportunity arose, and the client is of the opinion that we're going to be fulfilling just about every part of what a live, work, play community could be already, but we didn't have a big national or regional draw, and we feel like the surf park's gonna do that. So I'll get moving here. So again, this project has over 3 miles of frontage on State Road 56. You all will recall that State Road got funded initially as a 2-lane road, and I worked with the 3 MPUD owners out here and Mr. Goldstein to create a surcharge system, and the county got a loan from the State Infrastructure Bank, but the surcharges on 2 rivers pay for about 60% of the total cost of lanes 3 and 4 of State Road 56 for over 6 miles. So again, regionally significant project. In addition to those surcharges, the project generates around, we think conservatively, $50 million in mobility fees for the county. Again, massive amount of money being created for the county to use on roadway projects over time. Now, when we speak about the quality, as we retooled the project over the last couple of years, just the area south of State Road 56, our client is spending close to $50 million in landscaping and hardscape improvements, and home builders in that area are spending another 13. So it's going to be a very high-end community. Again, you've already seen some of this stuff from staff, but up in the top right area, there's already a major employment area that's reserved. There are major employment areas for light industrial that are reserved in the northwest area as well. The school site's already been acquired by the school board, and an 85-acre regional park site's already been created. And to the question that was posed earlier, I don't have the specific question that Mr. Moody was asking for, but our calcs were, and it's hard to say if we lessed out all of the non-residential, but before we lessed that out, the net density was about 2.67 units per acre. And the reason why I bring that up is, yes, we are asking for more units here, but if you factor in the land use exchanges that had already occurred before we filed, and the one that we could have done on the senior housing was 209 units. We're essentially asking for just over 700 units on a project that already has, I think, about 5,700 units. So it's not a huge amount. And even when those units are allowed, you're still at a density level that's commensurate with the rest of our urban service area in the South Market area. And if you look at our rental units as a whole, we're still at about 17.8%, which is very low compared to the majority of the rest of the Bay Area. You've already seen this table several times. I'm not going to attempt to do anything with this slide other than to tell you that there have been months and months spent with county staff on the negotiation of what could occur and any additional apartments with this approval. And I'll try to summarize it very quickly. We can only have more apartments up to 240 if the surf park is built, and we build in one of only 2 areas that are very close to the surf park and the regional park site, and we then have to have it be part of a mixed-use area with a very urban design where the buildings are up on the road, and we're trying to create an area that's more like Hyde Park. It's not intended to be more suburban form multifamily. It's intended to complement the surf park area. And if the surf park doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. And even on our townhouses, a lot of negotiation with county staff on it. And the townhouses can only be one of 3 things. They have to either be 24 feet or wider, okay? So that's much larger than the typical 18 or 20 foot wide townhouses we see. And one of our premier local luxury builders has a contract to build a significant amount of those units. And we expect them to be priced 2 to 3 times higher than the average entry-level townhouse would be in the county. The only other 2 options for townhouses are being alley loaded, or if it's an internal lot that opens up onto a village green. So the project has about 170-page architectural design guideline package that everyone has to follow. You're looking at some of the homes by West Bay that have been built on the south side of 56. I'll get into the details on those, but that basically we created with the Eisenhower team, their architectural group, and the planners created a package of specific design ranch architecture that's consistent throughout the project. And again, every part, whether it's single-family detached townhouses, apartments, any classification has to follow the themed architecture through there. What you see, though, in reality, since the project's been retooled, is a project that is very high-end and general. On the south side of 56 alone, there have already been 253 homes over $700,000 sold. West Bay's average house is well over $1 million, and these numbers are a little bit outdated, but they had sold over 88 as of a few months ago, with an average sales price of $1.066 million. The project has won several different local and regional awards. Projects built around trails and parks. We know that that's what residents want. It's not just, planners here at the county. That's what people want these days. And so there are over 10 miles of multi-use paths and trails that run through the project. As you heard from staff, there's about 8 miles south of State Road 56 that has either 10 or 12-foot trails, most of which are 12. And then we have some localized connections, boardwalks and stuff like that. And then the really cool other path that's going to go through a Tico transmission area that has a big oak canopy along the south, the Pasco Hillsborough line. Again, very high-end amenity package. Some of the recent discussions with other MPUDs are about, what kind of quality are you going to have? Are you even going to have an amenity on site? Well, yes, many amenities and many upscale amenities. I'm just going to run you through a couple of the high-end amenities that are either have been built or are being built as we speak. You see resort-style pools in several of them. I think 3 of the 4 major amenity areas have resort-style pools. Big workout areas, wine bars, restaurants, private clubs. We have large parks, neighborhood parks, dog parks. This is another one called the Nest. I believe this one just completed construction recently. You see again another large area. Pickleball, tennis courts, dog parks, things of this nature, bocce ball. Very high end. You can see the ranch style architecture here that carries on throughout the project, but it's a project that we're very proud of, and we're trying to make sure creates the live, work, play that the urban service area in the South Market area were requiring for this area. And I'm going to have Tony come up now, if he will, and walk you through the SURF part. But I just want to say again, and I think you guys have heard this over many years, but I'm just going to remind you of a few things about the South Market area, that the intent that the comp plan says we're supposed to follow for this area. And it says that the area shall be characterized by dense, vertical, non-residential development and sophisticated residential development with quality, design, intensity, and density necessary to support transit opportunities. And that the mission for the South Market area is the creation of high-density, compact, and mixed-use location with maximized transportation opportunities that attract a broad spectrum of employers and businesses. This area promotes higher density, compact development, and encourages mixed-use communities that live/work. I think that's what we're delivering on here. That's been our mission all along, and we're just following up on that now. And with that, I'll turn this over to Tony Miller, and he can make a presentation about the surf park, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
Tony Miller, 3614 West Morrison Avenue in Tampa. I am the developer of Peak Surf Park here. I'm going to take you through a few slides here just to give everybody two things. One is a much better perspective of what this surf park really means. I think there's probably some confusion about what is a water park. This is, will hopefully answer some of those questions. And two, show what value this is bringing to the county, because I think there's significant value there. So the vision for the surf park is to redefine lifestyle and leisure in the Tampa Bay market. There are four key components, I think, that we're really delivering inside of this park. One is it's going to be a great surf park. I know a lot of people think that there's a lot of surfing opportunities in Florida. There are not, especially on the West Coast. We do not have any waves, and so there will be surfing here in Pasco County. The second is it is a lot more than surf. This will be the best beach club in Tampa, or in Tampa Bay, in Florida. This is, people love to go to the beach. This will be a really great opportunity to have a great beach right here in Pasco County. It's going to be a hub for recreation and entertainment. There'll be a lot more than just the surfing and the beach. There's going to be restaurants. There's going to be a festival field. There's going to be all kinds of things that I'll show you in just a second. And the final thing, and probably one of the most important for me, is this will be a third place for local residents. You have your home. You've got your work. Where is that place that you gather, you congregate, you socialize, you find community? This is going to be that place for many, many people here locally. I said that it's more than just surf. We say surfing is the magnet, lifestyle is the multiplier. As you can see here, there's going to be the beach and the boardwalk and a lot of the things associated with that. There's going to be a great dining scene here. One of the examples that I've provided for people is that, in my mind, this is in no way is this going to be what you would see at a typical attraction. The food scene will be much, much better than that. We want to have small food outlets, and each one of them would represent one of the iconic surf destinations in the world. So you might have one that's Brazilian, or you have one that's Australian. Maybe you're going to have California food. So it'll be a very unique and eclectic food scene. We're going to have a sports village that's going to include skateboarding, climbing walls, all kinds of things. It'll be fantastic for the kids. And then we're also going to have events and retail where it's going to be a true retail village. So it won't, again, be anything kitschy that you might see at a lot of the themed attraction parks. This is an example. This should be a pretty good representation. I've been continuing to push and pull on our site plan, so there will be things that will move around in this, but it gives you a good sense of the surf lagoon, the beach, and a lot of the amenities that are on there. So, for example, down here is where we have that action sports park with a lazy river. Up here is like a retail village. There's going to be food and beverage. This is going to be a hotel along with a big festival field where we can do all kinds of events, movies, concerts, all kinds of things like that. Moving on, I think one of the important things here is the vibe of this park is authenticity is critical. We do not want this to feel like a typical theme park. We want this to feel like an authentic surf village that you walk into, and everything that we do around the design and the guest experience will be represented here. So I think it's important to note that I am not a traditional developer. I am here to infuse this development with my personal mission statement. My personal mission statement for my life is to live big, laugh a lot, and elevate others. That's what I'm striving to do for me, and I see all of those elements fitting into this surf park. I'm not building the surf park and then turning around and selling it. This is my baby. I'm going to build it, and I want to operate it, and I'm doing it with a long-term view in mind. So I want this to be an awesome experience for everybody who is involved. So kind of transitioning to driving value for Pasco County, I'm just going to summarize this in three main areas. One, I think this is going to be an incredible asset for locals. This is going to be something, as Clark just mentioned, this is the play in that live, work, play, where people in all of this surrounding Two Rivers development and beyond can have a place that they can come to. They can go to the beach, they can enjoy great food, they can listen to live music. There will be something for everybody. This is not just for surfers. Second, this is creating a lot of economic benefit. There's over 500 jobs, new jobs that we'll be creating, 700 if you include the hotel jobs, 1.3 billion of economic impact over the first 10 years, and a lot of additional tax revenue that will be going into the county here. So we're driving economic benefit. The EDC has provided a letter of support. Bill Cronin has provided that. We've also, and the final thing here is, we are creating a regional/national destination. This will be an incredible park that will be known throughout the country, and we will draw people here that want to come and experience that. And it will be something that is, we will draw people from Hillsborough, we're going to draw people throughout the state. So it'll be an incredible tourism destination. And again, we've gotten a letter from Adam over at Florida Sports Coast, because it really fulfills that brand positioning and all the work that they're looking to do with the tourism board there. So that's it. I would say a perfect day is not a dream. It would be a destination, and that destination is here in Pasco County. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there some questions? Okay, we'll see what questions develop.
One last thing I was going to say, Mr. Chairman, two. One, we have our full team here, engineers, planners, and if you all take public comment and you have questions, we'll be happy to answer your questions then. But also, I have a feeling some of the folks here may be interested in the environmental side of the project, and I just did want to point out one thing in my presentation in chief. The county has pretty sophisticated environmental lands policies and goals that they follow through on every MPUD, and especially where a Category 1 wetland system that's significant like Indian Creek is that runs through this project. And I just want everybody on the Planning Commission and who's present to understand the county already had requirements of the master developer that I believe have already been complied with that required the creation of a very large, regionally significant conservation area that protects Indian Creek, which is one of the headwaters of the Hillsborough River. And so I just want them to know that. There were conservation easements that were required to be put in place as each of the phases came along. And so they're either in plats or in separate conservation easements, but those do exist. Other than that, I'll answer questions after our neighbors speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, who do we have on the list?
The first individual I have signed up to speak is a Miss Danielle Kimbrell, and then after that I have a Miss Laura Daffer.
All right, so as you come up, if you can give us your name and address, and have you been sworn?
I have. Danielle Kimbrell, 1215 West Risk Street, Plant City.
Thank you.
The third space already exists. It's called nature, and we're losing it constantly. This is a constant sign that is at the Hillsborough Community College. This is one of many headwaters that contributes to the Tampa Bay watershed. The water in this seasonal wetlands flows through, beneath, and into the following locations. At the top of this list, Two Rivers Ranch. This is 49-mile journey passes through a number of natural communities, including freshwater swamps and creeks. These swamps and creeks flow into the forested river system that slowly meanders its way through Temple Terrace, then through urban Tampa before entering the Hillsborough Bay, Tampa Bay, and finally Gulf of Mexico. The importance of keeping even small water bodies such as this in a prime, pristine, functional, and vital condition as possible cannot be emphasized enough. The activities that negatively affect headwaters have damaging impacts many miles downstream in their journey to the ocean. Now imagine how many places have already been covered, especially Temple Terrace. Development is not an island. The water will continue to flow. Any more development in this area is beyond irresponsible. Billions of taxpayers' money has gone into repairing the Everglades. We still haven't learned. This book was written in 1947. The Hillsborough County was given millions of dollars by the U.S. government for sediment study that started at Baker Creek, just south of this development. And again, the water is going to continue to flow, and it impacts more than just this development. This land goes back way further than what was mentioned from the people that owned money or have money and have owned this property. This land has been sacred. And I want to know who's protecting that, who is overseeing the millions that have already been spent at this property, digging it up and not showing what they find, because there's evidence there of past civilizations, and it's, again, beyond irresponsible to develop this area. Thank you.
Thank you. No applause, please. No applause. Okay.
Next, we have a Miss Laura Daffer, and then after that, we have a Mr. Wayne Schuler.
Okay. Again, give your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Laura Daffer, and my mailing address is 38935 West County Line Road, Zephyr Hills. But the reality is, I live in Crystal Springs, 5 to 10 miles away from where all this proposed development is going to take place, unless you stop it. What will it take for you to understand Pasco County does not need any more development? When I was growing up, I was taught that Florida meant land of flowers. Please stop it from becoming the land of ugly houses. Right up there where it says open spaces, vibrant places, that's not going to be Pasco County anymore. According to the county website, the population of Pasco County is 659,114. How many of these people have you asked what they want, what they need? We don't need any more houses, apartments, townhouses, warehouses, stores, car washes, etc. We do need better roads, less traffic, and we need to protect our water. Where is the water going to come from for the proposed 35-acre recreational water park? I am so thankful that I grew up going to a God-made water park called Crystal Springs before the water got sold off and bottled up. In closing, I want to quote a line from an old movie, Field of Dreams. If you build it, he will come. I'm begging you, stop building it, and maybe then they won't come. Focus on the needs of the people who already live here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next is Mr. Wayne Schuler. After that is Miss Michaela Kraus.
Hi, Mr. Schuler. I know you've already been sworn, but we still need you to repeat your
Wayne
name
Schuler,
and
Zephyr
address.
Hills, I've been sworn.
Thank you.
Just another quick comment. We expect the planning commission, the county commissioners, the permitting officials to weigh the interest of all the residents, not only for profit for builders, but be responsible for water resources, stop unchecked growth, and the degrading of neighborhoods, and increased flooding and traffic congestion. We're just looking for basic things. We don't want to stop all building and everything, but we're at a breaking point, especially in that area with traffic and water. We don't need any more. We don't need any more people building. We don't need more people driving in that area. I mean, I go to Plant City or Tampa every week, and I hate sitting in traffic. It's like Tampa's come to Zephyr Hills. I just think no for now. Until everything settles down, stop the building, get the roads, infrastructure and everything built before you start letting thousands of people drive in the area. Please, no more. I've been here a long time and I know what it's like. I remember when it was all flatlands, all the way out 54. You've built so much, and once they build, they don't care about the people around them. It's just keep building, and you're hurting a lot of residents. So please, no more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next is Ms. Michaela Kraus. After that is Mr. Carl Bailey.
Michaela Kraus, 35920, Praise Place, Unit 102, Zephyr Hills, Florida, 33541. I have sworn. Good afternoon again, Commissioners. I'm a resident here today to strongly urge you to deny the rezoning amendments before you, Two Rivers. What is being proposed is not a minor adjustment. It is a transformation of our community on a massive scale. At Two Rivers alone, this was a project originally presented as having the same residential footprint comparable to Lake Bernadette, and is now seeking approval for 6,547 new homes, 480 hotel rooms, 4 million square feet of industrial and commercial space, a 35-acre surf water park. What concerns me the most is our apparent willingness to treat our natural resources as expendable. Two Rivers was old growth forest that was cut, burned, and then the other month logged, okay? Pretty intense to see that when the entire county is becoming concrete. That could have been an equestrian park or a trail that we actually want. We want that. We don't want this. This responsibility, it falls on you guys, and we're really trusting you. Please have our public interest in mind, and please don't just simply approve every proposal that crosses your desk, because this has gone on way too far, and the public is just now really being aware of it. There are already 50 hotels throughout Wesley Chapel and Zephyr Hills, existing recreational facilities, splash pads, and water attractions at Zephyr Park and Hercules Park. Yet we are being asked to accept hundreds more hotel rooms and a massive water park, surf park, while our roads, schools, emergency services, and most importantly, our natural systems struggle to keep pace with growth already approved. At some point, we must decide whether we are building a community or just simply consuming one. Future generations will never know the Pasco County that existed before these decisions if we continue approving projects of this magnitude. Once the forests are cleared, once the habitats are destroyed, once the character of these waterways is lost, there is no vote that can bring them back. You have the power to protect something irreplaceable. Stand with the rivers, stand with the wildlife, stand with future generations, and please deny these rezoning amendments. And I do want to bring up Indian Creek, New River, and Hillsborough River for they cannot hire lobbyists. The wetlands cannot stand at this podium. The birds, the fish, the native species that depend on these ecosystems, they don't have attorneys on their behalf speaking. That's why we're here. And I just also want to point out that when they brought in that fill dirt for Two Rivers, and then Milton came, Zephyr Hills flooded, people lost their homes and their lives. There's no number that you can calculate. I don't know what scientists or conservationists you can bring in to tell me about that logic, okay? Also, my water that I drink, it tastes and smells like toilet water. And I have a filter on my sink. I go outside and you put all these homes in, I smell raw sewage in the air, okay? Please, we're begging you. The residents want nature. We want our trails. We want to smell fresh air and breathe water. This is just basic needs. Please, listen to us. any questions while I have 2 minutes? Because I'm outside a lot. I can answer any questions about, the creeks or the, if you pull up Two Rivers and you just zoom out 1 click, Hillsborough River State Park's below that. In this county, you guys really should have kept that land. But now that it's in Two Rivers' hand, we really need to put them in line on what they're doing to this county. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
After Mr. Carl Bailey is Miss Donna Holt.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Carl Bailey. I live 3609 East Tampa Circle. I am sworn in. I'm also a property owner in Pasco County. I'm also vice chairman of the Sierra Club and one of the organizers with Stop Two Rivers. So you can guess how this is going to go. I'm also 11 months out of the military. Probably can't tell that because Marine Corps, I cut my hair cut a little shorter. Typically, they issue a beard when you retire, but I'm not growing one. So I grew a mane. Thank you for the opportunity and for Chairman for your patience with me earlier.
Sure.
To participate in the democracy I defended. Thank you guys for giving up your time because I know you don't get paid enough to do this. Thank you for showing up and participating in democracy so many Americans today.
You're going to have to speak in the microphone. We can't record
Thank
you
you
otherwise.
for showing up and participating in the democracy so many Americans defend, and even for councils in opposition. Thank you. It would be no fun without you. I'm asking you either vote no, acknowledging that your job is to vote whether it's consistent or not with the growth plan. I would remind you, I know that's a risk, you're looking at the whole growth plan, not just the specific bullets that were cited earlier. So whether this is consistent with the plan as a whole. I'm asking, if you can't vote no, at least vote for a delay. And I'll get into some of the reasons why a delay may be prudent for this particular project. Now, a little bit about me. I grew up here, actually Hillsborough County, 301, right across the street from Two Rivers Ranch. My sister actually mucked stalls and rode on the ranch. I knew the Thomas family well. Moved to Pasco County because 30 years ago, Hillsborough County was getting overbuilt for my taste. After that, joined the Marine Corps. You can imagine me coming home 24 years later to Hillsborough County and Pasco County, completely grown up. When I left, we had growth. We had good growth. Along 54, we were growing. Coffers were flowing here in Pasco County. We were building out some municipal structures. It was good, but that was because the infrastructure was required by law to be in place before we developed. So it all made sense. Coming home, wildlife, the wildlands, the water, they're scarce. The infrastructure, at the risk of offending you, is well behind where it should be for the amount of development we have going on. I'm going to touch back on that later. So I'm not opposed to growth.
Don't wait too much later because you got 3 minutes.
That's okay.
Make sure you get everything in.
We're talking about a change in the plan. So we are changing the plan, and the only reason for that is not to build affordable housing when we have affordable housing crisis. Is to build homes for people like me who can afford $700,000 home. And I don't think that's consistent overall with what this county needs. You saw no justification for why we need to build a hotel, a retail space, and a water park in the middle of the Hillsborough River floodplain. Again, not affordability, we only can see a profit motive for that. And the county members are going to have to pay for all the human infrastructure we have to put in. All the police are going to have to hire, all the teachers for the schools, emergency responders, etc. And this is a time we may not have a property tax. So that brings me to the first reason to delay. How do we pay for this if on November 3rd they vote the property tax down? Now, talk about the things we can't fix. Wildland, wildlife, and water, once it's gone, it's gone. Now, the wildlands, the site has undeveloped property. That's our risk mitigation. If we make a mistake now, how do I fix it? How do we develop growth in the future? The wildlife, it's why we live here. Most of the people in the audience, they'd have pictures of bald eagles in their front yards. That's why we do it. The water, either we have too much or we have too little. And I will respectfully disagree with one of the things said earlier. You can't put water just into a retention pond. It doesn't work. Once Tampa closes the dam on the Hillsborough River that water backs up. This is the property it was supposed to back up into. When we had PE 8, that property is where it used to back up into. That water will go somewhere. Now that flooding will be displaced, and the people in the audience are going to pay for that with their insurance costs. Now, too little is the other thing, like we have now. Again, looking at this comprehensively, what would happen to our water resources if we had all this extra development in place? That's a lot of straws in the ground, and frankly, with our water problem, it is a strategic lifeboat problem. There will be a limit to growth. We're already over pumping, and these developments aren't finished. Lastly, well, I do want to talk about, because I got a little bit of time, bad taste. Asking for a water park in the middle of a drought is like my son getting drunk, crashing the car, and then asking me for a new car while the blue lights are still flashing. Frankly, the timing is poor. Again, looking at this holistically, how does this plan fit with Hillsborough County? This project's not bookended. Two Rivers wants to develop on the Hillsborough County side. All that traffic going down 301, which we call Gall Boulevard, is going to back up. Now, lastly, as a testament to the state of the infrastructure, the whole family was delayed in getting here because of that bike accident, which may have been a fatality, and they were not here for swearing in. So just request forbearance. If you can swear them in, I know that's out of the ordinary. I'd like to use the remainder of my time to give them an opportunity to speak. And then for the last 9 seconds, for everyone here opposing Two Rivers, please stand up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
After Ms. Donna Holt is a Mr. Gabriel Holt.
You say Miss?
Donna Holt is next, and then it's either Gabrielle or Gabriel.
It's Gabriel. I was not sworn in. I was caught in the traffic, so I'm not sure if I can.
Yes, you can be sworn in, please. Raise your right hand.
Gabriel also.
You want to get
Anybody else?
Do us
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, whoever has not been sworn in that wants to speak, stand and raise your right hand and be sworn. I would just ask that if you're going to come up and speak, please try to speak about something that hasn't already been spoken about. Okay?
Swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
Good afternoon, I think, at this point. Commissioners, my name's Donna Holt. I live at 6539 West Knights Griffin Road. I am in Plant City, Florida. I am here today to speak regarding this amendment, and I'm asking that either you delay it or that you turn it down. And I don't want to reiterate, I think, some of the things that some of the other people have said, but I think it's very important. One of the questions that I have, I heard one of the representatives indicate that this plan for this Two Rivers on the Pasco County side has been in motion basically since 2008. My question is, what's changed? What has changed since 2008 that they want to now have this plan amendment change? Has infrastructure changed? Has roads or schools changed? Fire rescue changed? Law enforcement, utilities, water resources? We know we're in one of the biggest droughts that we had. And I feel the burden shouldn't rest on the residents on this plan. I think that it should rest on the applicant to demonstrate what the substantial changes have been. I'm concerned about the fiscal responsibility. With ongoing discussions at the state level about eliminating or reducing property taxes, local governments are going to face uncertainty about the future revenue and how they're going to pay for schools and fire stations, sheriffs, that type of thing. So my concern also with this change is when this entire plan was developed, they went before swift mud, wetlands were developed, runoffs were developed, retention ponds, detention ponds. All these things were developed in this community based on their original site plan. What has changed? What's going to change? When they make these new changes, what's going to change with this water runoff? That's a concern for me. Obviously, I am south, and we are facing, Two Rivers on the south side, and now we're dealing with Two Rivers on the north side because that water is going to flow to us on our side. It's going to flow down through Hillsborough County River, or the Hillsborough River, and that's going to affect all of Hillsborough County. Like Carl already said, if the dams are closed, it's going to back up. But what has changed? Has there been new studies done regarding the stormwater changes based on the new plan that they're requesting for you to approve versus what was approved? Where is this water going to go? What's going to happen there? That's a big concern that I have. My husband's a stormwater engineer. We actually flooded during Milton. We literally just moved back on our house back in January. And so I feel like one thing that needs to be discussed is this water park. So now we don't no longer have old Florida. We no longer have old Pasco. Now you guys, you're going to have Hyde Park. Is that what I just heard? So horses and cows are going to now be replaced with Hyde Park. How many citizens in New River or Two Rivers even got a chance to come here today because you guys have this meeting at 1:30 in the afternoon when people who have to pay for their houses can't even come here and have a voice? That's a concern for me. So now, welcome to Hyde Park in Zephyr Hills, Wesley Chapel. Why do we need another water park? You already have a water park. That's a concern for me. I don't know if that's my time up. Oh, sorry, that's my time. I'm going to defer.
Okay, thank you.
After Mr. Gabriel Holt is a Miss Janet Stanko. I apologize if I said that wrong.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. Who was supposed to be next?
Gabriel Holt.
That's me. Hello.
It's you, okay.
I'm Gabriel Holt. Hello, commissioners.
What's your address, Gabriel?
Oh, sorry. I live at 6539 West Knights Griffin Road. I've been sworn in.
Okay.
I'm here to voice my concerns about this land use change. It has been found by your people that it's consistent, but is it consistent with the Is it consistent with the plan and infrastructure or only the plan? Sorry. As a youth who's been raised in rural Florida, I am upset with the Two Rivers owners because they are going to have a pretty large environmental impact because this is going to, it's hard to say what hasn't been said because lots of people have spoken, but it's going to use up lots and lots more water. Take the 35-acre water park, for instance. I know it's already been said, but on average, a water park of that size to initially fill can take anywhere from 17 to 19 million gallons of water. Not only do we not have enough water to support the homes, we do not have enough water to support 17 million gallons of water being put into a water park. Not to mention the extra 200,000 gallons that will probably be used per day to make up for what gets evaporated and splashed out of ponds. Pools. Sorry. We are already having lots of either water shortages or flooding. As has been said, in Milton, where we live, we're not even supposed to flood. But we got a little over an inch of water in our house, as well as our entire yard getting coated in water. Trying to add almost double the amount of water straws into the aquifer than they already can is just unthinkable, and it will have immense It will have immense environmental and economic impacts, and it's just not going to be good for us for long term. Please vote against this. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Good job.
Up next is Miss Janet S., and after that is a Miss Nancy Williams.
Good afternoon. My name is Janet Stanko. I live at 14701 Rocky Brook Drive in Tampa, Florida. I'm the chair of Tampa Bay Sierra Club. And the reason why Sierra Club is here today is Sierra Club is an environmental organization, and the environment, the wildlife, wetlands, surface water knows no boundaries. It can't read the maps that are put up on the display. So we are concerned about the impact on Tampa Bay. The water affects us all. This land is part of the Hillsborough River floodplain and Tampa's water supply. The additional proposed intensity will use even more water. In residential areas, 50% of the water goes for irrigation to water lawns. How much more water, and this is a question, how much more water will this expansion require? Have more studies been done on the water requirements and where the water will come from and how surrounding areas will be impacted? Have you studied how wetlands and floodplains will be affected by the additional pumping? Is there an estimate of additional development-related flooding with a plan for managing that water, or is the developer just relying on the previous documentation that was provided? I will close that it is unconscionable for the applicant to ask for a 35-acre water park in the middle of a drought when municipalities are challenged to provide water for residents and have had building moratoriums and we're overpumping the Peace River. Our first priority is to ask for a denial of this request. In 2008, they've been working on it since 2008 and had an approval. Then they brought in a consultant and needed more density. Now, what's to stop them next year from getting another consultant and adding yet even more density? So we're asking for a denial. But if it's not possible to do that, we ask for a continuance to coordinate with Hillsborough County to assess the impact on the total parcel between the two counties. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last individual I have signed up to speak is Ms. Nancy Williams.
Hi, my name is Nancy Williams. I live at 35617 Sunflower Hill Drive in Two Rivers. We came here today, my husband and I, because we're excited. We wanted to know what was going on. We saw the signs and thought, oh, we want to have all the information because we're retired. We can go back home and tell everyone what's going on. I'm really disappointed that there are so many people who are against what's going on because we're excited. We have lived there. We understand the community and what the builders are doing. It's a good thing. They are doing a lot of things that are being conservative and being protective of the community. We sit in our lanai every morning along the preserve and we watch the wildlife. We are living the life of the preserve and the wonderful community that they have been developing. When the hurricane happened 2 years ago, it was right after we moved in, and we didn't get flooding, but the preserve was flooded. So they are accommodating for flooding in our areas. They are doing the right things. They're planting bahia grass in the backyards and with no sprinkler systems in the backyard so that we aren't consuming as much water as the normal home. So I'm feeling that the developer is doing what they can to do for the environment, at the same time giving us, the homeowners, the things that we want in a new community. We're coming from all over. We didn't live here before. There aren't a lot of places to buy into that have everything, and this is a community that's going to have everything. That's why we bought here. So we're happy with what's going on, and you need to keep that in mind as well.
All right, thank you.
There are no more individuals signed up to speak, Mr. Chair.
All right. I know that you want to speak, so you can come up, but is there anybody else that wants to speak that hasn't been sworn?
Julia Bartonek, Meadowood Drive. I have been sworn, and I'm all for geriatric apartments. I may be in one sooner than later, but definitely not in this area. And we're going to need more geriatric facilities in Pasco County because more younger people are actually leaving Pasco County that have grown up here, which is very sad. I was listening in on one of the county meetings, and in a mere 5 or 6 years, we're going to have to be looking at purchasing 33 million gallons of water daily from Hillsborough County, who may not even sell us that water because they may need to bolster the levels of the Hillsborough River. So this is definitely something to consider, because I don't know who's going to be liable. Pasco obviously is going toilet to tap, as it's called, but who's going to be liable when those taps go dry in 5 or 6 years? Does anyone know? When people go, the average citizen goes to turn on their tap for water, or a fire department goes to put out a fire, because we have many fires these days in Florida. Where's the water going to come from? I'm deeply concerned about that, and thank you for your time, and thank you for what you do. I don't know how you do it, but I'm grateful for everybody here, our speakers, and everybody. Thank you. Please deny this or continue. Thank you.
Thank you. So we've heard a lot. I just want to mention that we've heard an awful lot about water, whether it's right or wrong. Those are things we have to decide. So I would prefer that if you're going to come up and speak, just speak about a different topic. That's all. Give us something besides water.
So I can throw this away. This is Jasmine Forkin. I'm at 14119 Family Trail in Hudson. I moved there from Pinellas because it was overbuilt, and now I'm aiming to move someplace else because everything around me is destroyed. As far as water goes, I think that they should bring in seawater instead of drinking water from the aquifer, if they want this elaborate thing to serve few people who can afford it. This entire project is for rich people. They promise jobs. Where will the people that do work there live? Pinellas is employing people that live in Pasco because it's cheaper. Are we at the point where we have to go elsewhere for workforce because everything else is so expensive? Also, I'm curious to know, if I had to pay $20,000 impact fee for a smallest of the mobile homes in Hudson area, how much of impact fees are these people paying? The county. So East Coast is not too far away. They can go surfing in the ocean there instead of building it is amusement park. I'm sorry. It is something that's created just to amuse people who can afford it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Just a minute. 1 minute, Nancy. Were you on the list, Nancy?
No.
Were you on the list?
No.
Okay. How many were not on the list that do want to speak? Okay, but you've been sworn, Nancy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you come on up? But the other ones, I guess there's 2 of you. We'll have to swear you in before you come up.
I'll be short and sweet. Nancy Hazelwood, 34110, a nice place, and I won't talk about water much. So I'd really be more impressed if I saw images of the architecture. I know we saw pictures of the park and the bars and the restaurants, but the architecture and what the grounds are going to look like, and that would be impressive. You know, I've gone back to these places that they've said, oh, it's wonderful, and look at all the loveliness we're going to create, and I've been underwhelmed 99% of the time. So I've got some questions about this surf park. Is it going to be open to the public? Because I know Smeralda was open to the public. A lot of people that moved in there didn't realize it was going to be. And they actually had some problems there when it was open in the public, because they were also drinking at the same time. They were playing in the water park. So those were the two big problems that, well, I have more problems with it, but y'all have already heard them. So thank y'all.
Thank you,
Nancy?
Oh, one more thing. Could we do a breakdown of what kind of jobs the surf park's gonna bring, like the high end of what they're going to make and the low end, and how many of these and how many of those? Thank you.
I'm sure they're making notes, and they'll try to answer any of the questions that you raised.
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know that you won the Planning Commission participation trophy today.
Oh, stop.
So I brought you some beautiful, organically grown butternut squashes from my garden. If you'd like to come up and claim them, they're yours.
Come on, Nancy.
Thank you.
Wow, he set the bar high.
That's right.
Jeez, how are we gonna top that one?
Organically grown butternut squash.
What are you giving away, Chris?
I don't know. I have some avocados going.
Okay, we forgive your name and address.
Hi, my name's Karen McGoldrick. I live at 5973 Bear Meadow in Plant City.
Okay, let's get you sworn in, please.
I think I already did when she did her second
Oh, you
one.
did? Okay.
What I've heard, we live on just 1,000 feet from what Two Rivers wants to do in their 8,000 acres. So this is a huge concern for us. What I've heard for the past couple hours is a lot of words from salesmen, from suits that want to promise one thing, and then they do what they do, and then they back out, and they're never heard from again. I've heard a lot of promises, what they want to do, but there's only so much that they can promise with really no proof, no planning. They've not planned for traffic. They've not planned for water. They've not planned for the infrastructure. The infrastructure is going to be required from the surrounding community to pay for. The fire, the ambulance, the police, the roadway improvements. The developer's not going to pay for all that. So I guess when I say that all I've heard is a lot of words from them, the word that means the most to me is impact. What impact is all that they want to do going to have on all of us? If you live in this area, it's going to impact you. The water flows south, the aquifer flows south, and I know that we've talked a lot about water, but that is a huge concern. When Milton came through, my house, and I live on 4.5 acres, 3 of it is wetland. That wetland takes that water, soaks it up like a sponge, and spreads it around and sends it on its way. I was trapped on my property by 1.5 feet of water for 4 days after Milton. Now, praise God, my husband built our home. He built it up. So it didn't get in my home, but at 1 o'clock in the morning when the storm came through, it was really close. So now with all of this development, a lot of these homes, every one of them is going to have sinks, toilets, maybe some showers, or maybe some pools. The water park, all of this requires water. We need water. So I'm afraid one of two things is going to happen. Either we're going to flood, and the roads around me are going to flood in a normal summer storm, like I got 1.5 inches yesterday in my little area in half an hour. Or, and it's going to flood. Or my well's going to dry. We just had our well rebuilt because it's 20 years old. Had to have a new pump put in. Cost me $2,500. What's going to happen if my well runs dry and I have to have a new one dug? How many thousands of dollars is that going to cost me? Are they going to pay for that? Do I call them and say, hey, you know what you did? Because when the lady over here talks about how they're going to mitigate the flooding and her house didn't flood, well, good for her, because the developer brought in 4 feet of ground and raised her house up. But what that does for the rest of it, the water's got to go somewhere. So her house isn't going to flood. My property will. Please consider the impact and all that's going to do, because when it comes down to it, we don't need more homes. We don't need more retail.
You know, I'm continuing to be a little confused about the presentation about water, because on the one hand, somebody comes up and tells me we're getting flooded. And on the other hand, somebody next one tells me they don't have any drinking water. So what is it? Do we have water or do we have flooding? You know, how can you have, I don't want any conversation from, I'm talking to this lady right here. You know, you can't have it both ways. It's either flooding or it's not flooding. You know, you either have drinking water or you don't.
That's
you know, I live in the same county. I face the same issues. You know, I've lived on a well most of my life, and I've had to buy a new pump, a new tank. I've even put in new wells. It's just what do you have to do when you live on a well?
I understand
You
that.
can't expect, you know, Mr. Engel there to buy you a new well anytime yours goes bad. And where you chose to live is a place that floods naturally. Nobody else around there created that flood. And so if the water comes into your house, is that our fault? Is that my fault? No. You chose to live there. People come here every day and they want to live. We're not allowed to require them to have a passport.
My property
We
doesn't.
have to find some place for them if we're going to allow them to come in here. If you can develop a way to stop people from coming to Florida, then, you know, it's a lot easier to deal with it. But because you came here, and most of the people in this room came here, there was nobody before you came. Maybe they didn't want you here. Maybe they didn't want me here. I've been here. I know I've been here longer than most people in this room, and and my family's been here longer than most people in this room. My father was the first child born in Newport Richey, so I know how long I've been here. And we all have these problems that we have to deal with people coming to Florida, because everybody loves Florida. They either love Florida or Texas, or that's where people are going these days. What are you supposed to do? If you own property and you want to sell your property, why should your neighbor decide who you're going to sell it to? You're the one that has the investment. What I'm saying is, what I'm trying to tell you is there's two sides to every coin. So you can't just come up here and make statements about water and transportation and things when you don't really have any facts. It's just what you feel. Every day I get on this road too. You know how long it takes me to get from here to Newport Richey? A long time. You know how much I get paid to do this? Nothing. You know, somebody brought up the idea that why do we have these meetings at 1 o'clock? Well, it's my work day too. I have a business, but I choose to volunteer my time to be here to try to solve these problems. You know, I have people that leave these meetings mad at me. They think I'm getting rich off of it. You know, you got to be a little bit open-minded about it. Other people, there's a lot of people in this room that don't want this, but there's a lot of people that aren't in this room that do want it. So we have to consider both. And I just want you to understand it, because I ask you, don't keep bringing up water unless you have some real technical knowledge that we need to hear. But yet, everybody keeps coming up and talking about water. I'm trying to tell you that if you come up here again and talk about water, I'm not going to let you talk about it. I've had enough about water, unless you have some technical knowledge about water. So thank you. Who's next?
to you. Come on.
Cindy Buckle, 5839 Frontier Drive, Zephyr Hills, Florida, quarter mile of Polk County line. I'm going to talk about water because I have a degree in hydraulics.
You better have some serious information about it. That's all I'm telling you.
Oh, I do.
All right.
I do. There's a Florida statute that states that the local and state governments are required to provide people with potable drinking water.
Which statute number is that?
I don't have it in front of me, but I can certainly send it.
Well, then why are you talking about it?
I can send it
You
to
just,
all-
anybody can say that. Give me something we can put our teeth into.
Okay, all right, well, let's go here then. Okay, I have run out of water in my shower. I've had 2 wells dug on my property. The first well dried up, okay? The second well is as far back in the woods. They wanted to cut trees down, and I would not allow them. They had to figure out a way to get their rig in there to pump another well. This well produced rusty, sediment-filled water. Okay? I do know the aquifer is at least 20 feet below what it should be. I do measure springs throughout the state of Florida and Georgia, and every one of them are getting lower and lower. Governor Brian Kemp and I are currently corresponding regarding how Georgia's water is being affected by the 33 million gallon lagoons being built, now a water park being built. Okay, now, let me give you some facts about water parks.
Can I stop you for a second? Make sure she gets to
Stop
keep
the
her.
clock.
Yep, she can stop the clock. How are the lagoons in Pasco County affecting the water in Georgia? Because the last I checked, Florida was suing Georgia for water problems.
Well,
That's exactly right.
let me just say this. There are a lot of lawsuits going on right now.
Well, get it right. That's our only point. Don't come up here and make a statement that you can't verify.
If you'd give me more time than 3 minutes?
No, I'm not.
No, of course you're not.
Because you're not bringing any facts
You
here.
all don't want to know the truth.
Oh, yeah, we're up here conspiring
I too
against
am a
you, aren't we?
generational Pasco County resident. Okay, my father was not my grandfather, my great-grandfather were not people with a lot of money. They were farmers.
Hey, none of us had a lot of money.
We'll see.
What does that have to do with it?
What does that mean? That's my research. Anyway, just for people out there that know that 900 million gallons a day go to the new developments who are watering the new landscaping that is going in. I know this because I live on a road where I see puddles every day and think, oh my God, it rained. When no, it's not rain, it's their sprinklers running into the road instead of onto the plants, the trees that they've already had to remove and replace. So the bottom line here is there is really no reason to add an adventure island to Pasco County. You're going to add traffic to 2-lane roadways that DOT is not even
Okay, your
begun
time's up.
to look at.
Your time's
okay?
up.
And I will get you your information. And
Okay, just make sure you can verify it.
I will verify it. I didn't go to
Is there anybody else? Anybody else that wants to speak? Okay, the applicant? Hope you made a lot of notes.
I did, Mr. Chairman. Before I start responding to some of the general stuff, I do have Joe Semino, one of our project engineers with Water Resources Associates, and he can answer a lot of these questions if you'd like to get into them. Clearly, there are a lot of just generalizations. Okay, Joe, if you would come up and try to, we can provide answers on the amount of water that the surf park will use. Obviously, when it comes to flooding and things of this nature, we have to follow all of the same stormwater rules that everybody follows at the county and with Swift Mud. One thing I think it's important for our neighbors to know, and maybe that they don't know this, this whole project uses reclaimed water. So a lot of the large landscaping areas and water usage that you normally worry about with potable water, we're on a reclaimed system here. So that's not the same as using potable water.
That's the way they do those ponds, is that right? They circulate the water and reuse it? Okay.
Different than reuse water.
Good afternoon, everyone. Joe Semino with Water Resource Associates, 12363 Hampton Park Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, 33624. I got to say it, I don't know if you guys were thinking this, hats off to Gabriel. He came up with the math. I've never been able to get up here when I was that age and do this, so that was pretty amazing. His math wasn't too far off, but it was on a 35-acre lagoon, and that's understandable because the bullet points up there all say 35-acre surf park. This is a 6-acre lagoon. It's smaller than Murata, it's smaller than Epperson, and that's what we're dealing with here. So it's not a 35-acre lagoon, and hopefully that eases some concerns. What we want to get into here is some of the math. That's what you've asked for. And what I'm going to speak today is specifically the Southwest Florida Water Management District water use permitting that we need to do to withdraw water from the ground to fill and operate the surf park. I'm going to throw out a number. It's a recirculating system, and I'm going to throw out a number of 8,000 gallons per day. I'm going to compare that to some things for context, and then I'm going to get into what makes up that 8,000 gallons per day. We've heard a lot about golf courses, mostly because we've heard a lot about AI data parks, and they've been compared to golf courses. But we've got some very solid numbers we've all been working with, about 300,000 gallons per day on a golf course, a medium data center, or a small data center. Once you get into the larger data centers, 500,000 gallons per day, up to 1 million gallons per day. So the way that compares to 800,000 gallons per day is it's 37 times less than a typical Florida golf course, 37 times less than a mid-sized data center, 65 times less than a 100 megawatt data center, and 100 times less than some of the large AI campuses that we've all been hearing about. If we compare that to common everyday uses, that 8,000 gallons equates to approximately 37 single-family homes, 46 multifamily homes, and a little more than 50,000 square feet of commercial office building. Surf Lagoon serves about 1,000 people based on the projections. Golf per day. Golf course, 100 to 250. Residential, 100 homes, 138 homes. So what we're basically looking at is something that's 37 times less than some of those uses, 100 times less than some of the big, scary AI data center uses, and it serves almost 10 times as many people as some of those uses. So let's get into that 8,000 gallons per day. We've got Murata, we've got Epperson, we've got Lake Hideaway that's to the north in Hernando, we've got South Shore to the south in Hillsborough. This is not a new thing. These new lagoons were a different conversation 10 years ago. Now they are a known quantity. The Water Management District permitting requires extensive research, reporting, and analysis to come up with what these uses are going to require to operate and replenish every day. What we're coming up with, and it's based on known numbers, known evaporation, known rainfall, SWIFMA numbers for that. Spill out, splash out, talking about 1/4 gallon per person. So it's not extensive, and what we're coming up with is about 1,300 gallons per day per acre on all those other permits. That's what's coming out. So if you take the Lake Hideaway, 3.5 acres, Murata, 16 acres, Epperson, 8 acres, South Shore, 5 acres, the operational quantities that SwiftMud is vetting through lots of data and issuing permits based on is about 1,300 gallons per day per acre. That's where we're extrapolating our 6 acres to around 8,000 gallons per day. As we all know, rainfall throughout the year basically offsets evaporation, not in the peak times, but on average throughout the year. And then again, minor losses through treatment systems, splash out, and leakage, which is more of a problem up in Hernando when we're many, many, many feet above the water table, where here everything's pretty much going to be equalized with the water table. So just to summarize all that, golf courses and data centers are significant users compared to anything like this by probably 36 times. For small data centers and golf courses, large data centers, we're talking 100 times less or 100 times more. Surf Park's going to serve about 10 times more the amount of people as that. And then again, the surf park water use, it's one of the lowest water demands among public recreation water use when you look at these things like golf courses. So that's the math, that's the data on the daily operational usage. The filling, because I know that's come up. Again, a 35-acre lagoon would be gargantuan. What we're talking about is a 6-acre lagoon. It's 8 million gallons. That sounds like a big number. You could say it like 8 million gallons, because it sounds like a big number. To put that into context, if you take the surf park area and just the portions of the MPUD that are around it, the commercial, the multifamily, the out parcels along 56, everything that's directly around it, that's about 120 acres. 8 million gallons pulled from the ground for that initial fill is 2.5 inches over that 120 acres. And it's not instantaneously evaporated from the groundwater system. Part of the permit, half of the analysis is how many gallons a day can we use to fill it up so that we have zero impact on anything outside our property boundaries. So that 2.5 inches of the groundwater table over that, just the nearest area around it, on site, it gets done over a 3-week period, 2-week, 3-week. It all depends on what the data says. So the Water Management District polices this. They've now got 4 under their belt, and every single one of them, I can tell you, going through the data, the reporting was the first one, the second one, the third one, and now they're like PhD theses. It's impressive how what once was new is now a known quantity, and you don't just get to turn on the faucet and fill it whenever you want, however fast you want. That's even regulated too. 2.5 inches over that area.
I appreciate that. That's very, offers some clarification to me. I'm sure it does to the rest of the group here.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to say one more thing, and then, if there are questions, we could answer them. But the question was posed by one of the neighbors, one of the speakers, I should say. What has changed since 2008? What did we do? Why are we doing this? Well, what happened was, since 2008, the county did a county-wide study and adopted an urban service area. The county also adopted around that same time rural areas that were worthy of protection and are not intended to have more intense or higher density areas. This is in the urban service area. The county also adopted the South Market area with the specific intensification and densification goals I mentioned earlier. The county then approved the planned development and MPUD for this project. The developer then, at its cost, built all of the water, sewer, and reclaim services, the master lines down 56 that serve the whole project, as well as the on-site facilities. The county and the developer then were the driving force to get State Road 56 extension built. It did not exist but for this project. We built, and I'm still very proud of it to this day, maybe this and Angeline may be the things I'm the most proud of in my career. We built a 6.13 mile 4-lane road in ahead of development. We did it for this project. This was the main reason we did it, working together. We also went out and built, at this point we've built, or are in the process of building, all of the vision roads in the project for no fee credits. If this project was in VOPH or Connected City, we would be entitled to millions and millions of fee credits. And we also dedicated right-of-way for 56 Morris Bridge Road and 301, most of which for zero compensation. That would not be the case in certain other areas of the county. So what have we been doing since 2008? We've been planning to get just to this point, and the county's goal is for us to build this project out as well as we can. We're gonna have a full strata of working class people and some multifamily projects on down to people living in $1 million homes in here. And that's what the county wants. And furthermore, because the facilities are already in place, the higher end, the more higher end homes and the more commercial we can build in here, it inures to the county's financial interest, especially if this real estate proposal passes in the fall, because we're going to be in the high-end strata, and it will be much, much better for the county than having an entry-level project. So that's what we've been doing the last 18 years, planning to get to this point.
Okay.
So Clark, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I actually thought Ms. Hazelwood made the best comment of all. She deserves that award you gave her. Because she didn't talk about water.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's the guarantee that we're not going to be underwhelmed by the surf park? Because I'm looking at the conditions here, and it doesn't really have a lot of details about this surf park. It's very general. All it says is really that it won't be a lagoon.
I can have Tony come up.
We've got a very nice PowerPoint about it, but none of that's really in the conditions.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to do. We haven't done that in our other MPUDs that had the other similar, or not similar, that had lagoons and stuff like that. You and I tried to create a condition to memorialize what this is, that's intended to be regional in nature. All I can tell you is Tony's here. He can speak and give you as much detail as you'd like about what his plans are. We have a contract with Tony for him to build the park as it's proposed on these boards. We have no other plans. There is no backup plan. If Tony does not build that, we will not have a surf park there. He can explain in as great a detail. He has investors. He has a business plan. They've been patiently waiting. And one of the things I should say also, some of the neighbors, we go through this water stuff and drought and too much water in these periods. We filed this amendment over 2 years ago, and I'm really sorry that it came up during a drought period, but it did. But I thought it was going to be, maybe a year less time, but the county's very busy, is all I can say. Would you like Tony to speak to the surf park, David? I don't know how to better describe it.
The reason I think Ms. Hazelwood made a good comment is because I made a very similar comment when I was reviewing this. It's easy to give a lot of words, but without the language that sort of guarantees we're going to get what he's saying verbally, I'm looking at condition 41N, it doesn't necessarily require anything other than a big hole in the ground with the surf park, and it doesn't require all the stuff that he's saying verbally.
Right.
And so,
I'm happy to work with you after Planning Commission if there's additional verbiage I thought everybody was happy on staff about it.
I was never happy with this language, and I made that very clear to staff.
Okay, well, I did not know
And
that.
Ms. Hazelwood, that's why I thought she made a very good point, because I support the surf park, and I support what he's saying verbally.
Right.
But the language that's written here doesn't necessarily require what he's saying verbally.
Okay.
All it requires is a big lake that isn't a lagoon.
I am happy to work with you to try to come up with more language to identify what it is that Tony intends to build. It's intended to be a tourist destination that has a mixture of uses that can include hotels and all the other things, and I'm happy to flesh that out more in writing. I didn't realize that you weren't satisfied.
So
It might be good for the benefit of people that are here to let Tony speak about it.
We do have time, by the way. This has to go to the state, so we have like 2.5 months to do this.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that if we're going to be giving up some nice office industrial land, and it's going to be this great tourism draw, I agree with Ms. Hazelwood that let's get this if it's gonna be this great attraction, let's get what we're being promised. And
We have no objection to that. That's our intention as well. We're intending on Tony doing that for EPG, the master developer.
Is this the standard 6-year MPUD build-out timeframe?
Can you speak up in the mic? I'm sorry.
I said, is this the standard 6-year MPUD
No, we have
build-out timeframe?
we have a different build-out period.
What's the timeframe?
2035, they're saying. I should also say, just for the benefit of our neighbors, we did take some of the mobility fees and their program for improvements to Morris Bridge Road. So it's basically everything from 54 south to almost to the county line will be 4-lane between what this developer's doing or what we call the impound fund is for the county to 4-lane the section 56 up to Chansey. And we're done.
I think is it fair to say, because I think one of the concerns that, I can't remember your name, the man in the blue shirt back there. I think it was him that said about the roads. That was the thing he was most concerned about, the roadways and those types of improvements. And all that comes with impact fees. And you might want to touch on that, because I think a lot of people don't know that without impact fees, the county has no money to make those kind of improvements. So we're sort of behind the 8 ball. That's why we have to continue to develop.
The county funds its roadway improvements through a system of several different sources, one of the larger of which is mobility fees. And as mentioned from this project, it's estimated that it'll generate around $50 million in mobility fees. And of that, about $9 million are programmed to go in improvements for Morris Bridge Road. It will be up to the county to determine where the remainder of those funds go. They could be for parallel roads, it could be for other improvements in the area that alleviate some of the 301 effects that we see today. I will say, the last time I looked at our plan, the 301 segment between 56 and Chansey, I think is number 2 on our priority list. And that's something that the DOT reps, sit on our MPO board and work on that stuff together. I'll also say, because I'm told by Steve Henry that there are conversations ongoing with DOT, that we are looking at a series of interim improvements for the intersection of 56 and 301 right now. And that may include 4-laning segments going north sooner than the DOT timeline. Just something we're working on right now there, but there isn't anything in writing. And I believe it's the county staff's position that, 301, and I don't want to speak for county staff, but it's, a DOT road, and the county is expecting that DOT funds would be used for the improvements on 301. We would expect to work together through the MPO process, but generally that would be a state DOT funded project. Mr. Goldstein can correct me if I'm saying that wrong.
No, I think that's right.
Okay.
Did you want to hear from the?
Can we hear? Yes. Can we hear from?
Well, I'm okay if we hear from him. I'm more concerned about the wording than I am.
Well, that's what I want to get to, David.
I just want to make sure the public has an opportunity.
Can he have his developer come up here and specifically describe what makes a surf park versus a Marata or Epperson Lagoon?
Absolutely.
What it is?
Come on up. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Some bullet points.
You bet. So a couple things around the surf park that's very different than what you're going to see with the lagoons. Lagoons are very passive. There was a lot of problems with, I believe, how they got funded through people that lived there. They were using HOA fees. And then they let the general public in. This is something that is not that in any way. We are privately funding this. We're not asking any residents to fund something.
That's not what I'm getting to.
Okay.
What makes a surf park a surf park? You've got a machine that generates waves. You got so many linear feet of beach. The waves are going to be so high. I'm going to have X many square feet of concession stands and hotel rooms, or what is this?
Yeah. So all of that. In terms of the surfing, we are able to get about 100 surfers an hour through, and they're all going to catch 10 waves. These are legitimate ocean quality waves. I think that this is going to be most impactful For people that have never surfed before, that would be afraid to go out in the ocean. Ocean surfing is very difficult. People think that they can just go out into the ocean and go surfing. A lot of people are afraid of sharks. It's intimidating. There's a whole host of reasons why it's difficult. This allows for people to come in and do beginner waves, intermediate waves. You're going to see a lot of kids participating in this. They're going to start off. You're going to have high school surf teams. You will have youth sports. So you have club surf, just like you have club softball, club soccer. So we will make surfing democratized to a whole host of people that will be coming in. Surfing's different than going to Adventure Island. Somebody said Adventure Island. That's a thrill. And nobody does a thrill that often. This is a skill. A skill is something people come back for and they want to do over and over again. So it's vastly different than just at a water park. It's not that at all. And it's certainly not a large lagoon that's essentially a large pool like what you've seen with the other lagoons. Around that, it allows you an opportunity to now create a much bigger guest experience for the people that are there. You can create a whole food and beverage scene, as I mentioned before. You can create other activities that people can do, concerts, things for them to dwell and stay, extend that time. I've got a hospitality background. So everything that we're going to do in here is about the guest experience. It's from the beginning to the end. And I've been working on this project for 5 years. It's going to be another 2 to 3 before we have this thing built. There's been a lot of time, effort going into this. So what you're seeing there is our best version of this. And we are tied in with the developer. They don't get some of the things that they want unless we get the surf park built. So there's no guarantees in life, but we're trying to make sure that what you're looking for is what you're going to get. What we're telling you is what we're going to provide. Again, I am not one of the developers that has done the lagoons. I am somebody who's got a vision to be a long-term operator of this, and I'm going to put that together in a way where it's going to be successful. So I can go down a lot of rabbit holes in terms of the surf park. I don't think everybody in here wants me to do that. I can tell you though, the 510 jobs that somebody asked before, what kind of jobs we're going to have. We're going to have engineering jobs. We're going to have marketing jobs. We're going to have finance jobs. We're going to have HR jobs. We're going to have hospitality jobs. There's not a single person in my pro forma that's making less than, or not a person making minimum wage. They're all making something above minimum wage. This is a long-term project that I've got in mind that's going to be long-term sustainable. I want my people that are going to be there all along that spectrum to be making a very good wage. I want them to have housing close by, apartments and other things, so that they can live close by. And that's also part of the appeal of the whole Two Rivers development and some of the additional units.
How long will it take you to develop a plan submittal to be able to submit construction plans for site plans and building permit approvals to the county?
We've been working on that right now all the way through. A lot of that is working with Eisenhower Property Group. They're doing a lot of the horizontal work that's tied into what we're doing. We've been talking through drainage. We've been talking through utilities. We've been talking about all of that horizontal work. To answer your question, I mean, it's a little bit speculative right now because every time I think that we are at a certain place, there becomes another thing that we have to address. I thought we were going to have entitlements delivered a long time ago. So we're part of a much bigger package.
Let me tell you where I'm trying to go with it.
Okay.
All right. What I'm looking at is, I would like to know how long it will take for you to put construction plans in place, ready to submit. I know they may not be approved that day, but ready to submit. And where I'm headed with this, David, is, and why I asked about the build-out time for the MPUD. Usually when an MPUD expires, well, you expire with no entitlement. You've lost that entitlement. And what I'm looking at is, can we have some kind of condition where if this isn't built within a certain amount of time that meets a certain standard, that reverts back to the commercial and industrial entitlement that it was before?
If I might, I think I heard him start to make a list of the things that it would include, and I think that's the first thing that we ought to try to get at. I think that's what you asked.
Well, the only thing I got definitively was 100 surfers per hour and 10 waves per surfer. That's all I got.
I'll just go. I'll go from where I'm going here, and we can work off of this. And he's got to tell me whether he can do these things.
Yeah, all right.
This is not scripted here.
I understand.
What I'm hearing is that a privately funded, and maybe this is the wrong term, but a privately funded tourist attraction, surfing-based tourist attraction, that would include a lagoon, with a machine that generates waves that's designed to serve up to 100 surfers per hour and would include a beach and will include a venue for outdoor music or festivals and may include hotels. That's what I've heard him say so far.
I appreciate
It's open
that.
open to the public?
It would be, yeah, it's open to the public.
And privately funded.
Be a little bit more specific on that, because I didn't realize that's what you were looking for. We have currently built into the plan 150p boutique hotel. That's currently what we're looking to do. We have about 12,000 square feet of retail plan for the thing. We've got an additional about 10 to 15,000 square feet for food and beverage. We've got a 1 acre festival field plan for this. We've got, going through my memory here, we've got the Surf Lagoon, obviously I gave you some information about that. We've got a 1 acre action sports park built into the plan. These are all things that I've put into and are in the current documentation.
I would think developing a.
I think what we're worried about is, a lot of this stuff's probably going to get built in phases, and I don't want to get so ingrained in it that if we don't build one thing, he's somehow running afoul of the intent of it. But I do agree that we should have a better definition of it and work
Right,
off.
that's what I'm trying to figure out as an outline.
That's right. But if Planning Commission would permit me, I'd rather work with staff to try to create the kind of condition that we're going to do now that I understand what you're looking for.
David, would it be appropriate, and I know it's sort of the oxymoron, but some sort of binding concept plan for a surf park?
I mean, that would also address the concern. I just don't know if they've gotten far enough along to do that. I mean, because that's.
We could just show that as the concept plan that's intended to be reflected in that concept plan. But I'd also rather put some words in there to make it clear that he doesn't have to build absolutely everything on there, and he doesn't have to build it all once.
Well, we understand.
But we want to have some.
That's why I said the term's an oxymoron, a binding concept plan. Right. We've had that debate in here before, but.
But I'm not sure any binding concept plan requires them to build everything on the plan, but it just says if you build, you're going to build in accordance with this plan.
Yeah, I don't view this as, in any event, I would work with staff on that condition. And again, I'm hearing more today about the level of detail than I was even aware going into the hearing. So I'm happy to flesh this out with Tony on it. And to your point, Mr. Moody, I think and I don't know what the private arrangement is and the timelines of when he's got to build with Eisenhower, but if you're saying that, by the expiration of the current MPUD, if he doesn't build that, or build some portion of it, whatever we flesh this out to be, it could go back to the other uses and should go back to the other uses. I don't think we'd have an objection to that as to the surf park area.
Okay.
I need to double check with Eisenhower, but we're trying to get this done because we feel like the surf park's for the betterment of the area and our project as a whole.
I just, my concern is you've been working on this on and off for 18 years, and it's evidently the neighbors don't have a good idea what's going on there. I just think we need to do make a better effort to communicate with them. Because there's a lot of misinformation flying around, and that just makes our job harder.
Yeah, completely understood.
They think there's going to be a big lagoon, 35-acre lagoon, and we're talking about an 8,000 square foot pool or 6-acre pool. That's.
I will hit on that in this condition and make it more definitive. And again, my apologies that we weren't more specific on it. It just creates problems that we don't need. It's a new thing, so it's kind of hard for David and I to describe some of the stuff. But
I thought you could do it.
We will do that.
Well, the other thing, Clark, is you mentioned about the existing conditions related to what you have to do regarding the headwaters of the Hillsborough River and protecting them. That's information that if you actually publicize what you have to do already.
Right.
That would be helpful for these residents to know.
Right. Fair enough. And again, some of the folks who are here today, I think, are of more of a regional nature than a neighborhood nature. but that doesn't mean that they have invalid concerns about the river and stuff like that. It is incredibly important to our region. We're in a drought, and everybody's understandably worried about these things. I'm not trying to minimize it. I just know that having watched my dad be one of the people that got Tampa Bay Water created, we have a robust system here with alternative sources, and Tampa Bay Water reiterated again about a month ago. There is no water shortage within the Tampa Bay water system. They're constantly adding, adapting things, and we have room to grow.
Clark, I hear you. But it's hard to tell the public there's no water shortage when a restaurant cannot legally serve a glass of water unless it is specifically requested for. Okay?
I
And
understand.
again, I don't know what moron, and I will publicly say that moron, came up with that policy. All you do is scare the public.
That's right.
That's foolish.
I agree.
Okay, and I've been through periods of flood, and I've been through periods of drought, and I'm praying to God that when El Nino delivers its thing this winter, that this drought is going to be history. But
Understood. The public's dealing with it on a
right,
day-to-day
the
basis.
public is told they can't water their yard. The
Right.
public is told if you're a restaurant owner, you can't serve water. Well, how can they not be concerned about water?
And again, I don't blame them.
If you like me and you live over on the coast and you live west of the Suncoast Parkway, we're in a worse drought than you've ever seen. My property looks like a sand lot.
Right.
There's nothing living there because we've had zilch for rain.
Right.
What else do you expect these people to think?
Again, I'm not giving short shrift to their concerns. I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. I think we've heard a lot of testimony today. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve. For
And that,
purposes
you
of
want to
discussion.
incorporate that subject to the
Yes.
agreed language?
Yes, I'd like to add to that motion that between now and the time this gets to the board, that the legal counsel and developers will work with our future, very future, almost county attorney to better describe in the conditions of approval and attach some sort of binding concept plan that gives an accurate picture and description of the surf park we're being sold here today.
John, I'll second that, but I'll also, I just want to remind people that we're here speaking. I think you heard Clark hit on it a little bit, that I think I heard somebody get up and say, how can all this be done without a plan? There's been a whole lot of planning that's gone on, even talking about the modifications and the increases in the entitlements they're here to ask for today. None of this is ever done willy-nilly. I mean, I think Clark's probably been 2 years they've been working on this, at least, this modification. They probably have way more than that in work with Joe. Joe hit on how long it takes to get through the surf park stuff. I mean, there's been planning done to get to this point, and there will be a whole lot more planning and a whole lot more eyes on this stuff moving forward. Nothing's going to just pop up and obviously cause problems
And yes,
without
Jamie,
giving further thought.
That's something that I don't think the public understands. This hearing is only to discuss whether we're going to give them the right to make an application to actually build this, okay? They still have to get plan approvals, detailed engineered plan approvals from our local government, from our state government, and if it involves waters of the United States, from the federal government. And then the other thing I want to talk about too is you come in here and you tell us about needing to be consistent or that this is not consistent with the comprehensive plan. Yet not one person cited one comprehensive plan policy that this development is inconsistent with. You got to do your homework if you want to come here, because I want to read something to you. All right? In our comprehensive plan, these are the quasi-judicial application standards of review. All right? Once the staff recommends approval, At this point, the burden shifts to the governmental board to demonstrate that maintaining the existing zoning classification with respect to the property or denial of the quasi-judicial application accomplishes a legitimate public purpose. In effect, the landowner's traditional remedies will be subsumed within this rule, and the Board of County Commissioners will now have the burden of showing that the refusal to rezone the property or the denial of the application is not arbitrary, discriminatory, or unreasonable. You have to come up here and cite policies in this comprehensive plan that show this is not consistent. Otherwise, I'm being arbitrary, discriminatory, or unreasonable. You got to do a little bit more homework. It's easy to grandstand in front of the TV cameras, and I got to tell you, if you got plans running for office, you're going to be really surprised when you get up to Tallahassee and understand that the Florida statutes are volumes and volumes and volumes thick, and the Florida Administrative Code is something you'll probably never be able to read in the entirety of your life.
Also, you need to be careful when you talk about Amendment 3, because on a project like this, because almost every use that they're adding under this MPUD amendment would not be homesteaded. So be careful when you be talking about the impact of Amendment 3 for this particular amendment. A couple of you got up and said, you talked about how the impact of Amendment 3 in relation to this project, but Amendment 3 is going to be giving a large tax exemption for homesteaded property. Almost every use that they're adding with this amendment would not be subject to homestead. It's mostly multifamily and retail and hotel and surf park. None of that is homestead exempt. So you got to be careful when you start talking about the impact of Amendment 3 on these kind of uses.
In addition, on the entitlements, as far as residential, someone made the comment about that being greatly increased here. I pulled up a letter from Two Rivers from 2014. And back in 2014, the entitlements were 3875 dwelling units for single-family residential, 1,400 multifamily, and 1125 age-restricted. So essentially the same in residential entitlements that we're talking about right here.
Yeah, in fact, one of the uses that they're reducing, I think a single-family retirement,
age-restricted,
age-restricted single-family would be homestead exempt.
Yes.
So it may actually be a positive what they're doing as it relates to Amendment 3. This actually may be generating more tax revenue than the prior proposal.
So back to Jamie's, you know, this has been in the works for a long time. The school system's been planning on this for a long time. And we have, at least the school system has a plan in place to accommodate that.
All right. We have a motion, I think, right?
And a second.
Yep.
And a second. Any further discussion of the motion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? Okay, could you just, for the sake of everybody, could we just...
Clerk.
Could we...
Both items, or was that just one?
Oh, yeah,
That
we
would-
need to do them one at a time.
I'm
or-
sorry.
Yeah.
So I think my motion, the motion with the amendment I made to it was more specific to the MPUD.
Yes, that's right. You're right.
So that's number one.
So that would be, Mr. Chair, can we call that one the vote on P14? But I guess I can't vote on P14 before voting on P13.
Yes, so why don't you start over?
I move to approve item P13.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign?
Now I move to approve item P14, subject to the developer and his legal counsel coordinating with the county attorney's office to draft, prior to the hearing before the board to draft conditions of approval which better describe the surf park and include some sort of binding concept plan.
Second.
All right, any further discussion of the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, motion carries.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Still got that cough, huh?
Get back.
Oh, it is?
Born and raised.